Good morning.
Good morning.
Right, you'll have to bear with me because it's a big room, lots of people, no mic. All right, so maybe just from your side, a little bit of silence will help me as well. Now, I've been warned to stay in just this space because of that. So if you wonder why I'm stuck here and not really coming up to you guys, it's because of the recording. So I want to start today by giving you the opportunity to ask me questions, things that you're hearing in the market, because the real estate market in Dubai has completely changed. Okay? What are the new dynamics? Anything that you're hearing from current buyers, sellers, if those of you are working in the secondary? Let's discuss some of those first, then get into the content. So go ahead. Questions? No questions means managers double their targets. They're rock stars.
You're doing well.
For me, like I had some comments, like especially yesterday night, I was saying like the market will drop, and someone is saying the market is going down. Now it's not good to invest, and the prices is still high.
Okay, so that's two concerns that they're voicing. One, the market is going down, it will drop, and the prices are too high. So it's two different concerns. We'll deal with that. What's your question, sir?
The same question.
Which part? Both or?
No, the question of how is the market situation now?
Okay. Market situation for the next 10 years, and I'll explain it. I'll give you all the facts to use. For the next 10 years, the market situation is absolutely brilliant. For the next 10 years, get that in, all right? But you need to be able to show why and support it with tangible evidence. So let's first, yeah, absolutely. Not just the facts. You have to have the sources for the facts. Every time before you give a statistic, you sell the source because it makes the fact more credible, okay? And the reason why you must use facts is when clients raise these concerns, they're doing it mainly as an opinion or based on perception. The only way you can counter perception is through fact. Because when you are going to give a perception-based answer, if you say everything is selling out, look at what's happening around you, but you cannot quote facts on it, clients will easily challenge what you're saying, right? So here's what you should do when you hear this, okay? The prices are going up. I'll deal with that separate. First, let's talk about the market is going down, right? So every time a client says this to you, don't answer it immediately. You need to first qualify. What is the reason they are making such a statement? Is it based on some sort of fact or just what they're hearing from people in the market? So you will immediately neutralize the objection. So here's what you do, right? Client tells you markets are going down, or we're going to have a slowdown, or too many units are coming out. It is only natural that a correction has to happen. They're all very similar. You will hear that. First thing you will do is you will take the name of the client. You have to take the name of the client. Why? When the client is saying this, he's going into slightly negative space in his head. That is a right brain emotional feel at that moment. So you want to go into the right brain because he's sitting in the right brain in his head. So I'll take the name because names are with relationships. So I'm going to use Ahmed as an example, okay? So not a particular Ahmed here, just Ahmed in general, okay? So I would simply say, Ahmed, I'm glad you brought that up. Where exactly did you see that information? That's the first thing you got to do. Now, what's the reason you're doing it, okay? Firstly, if he's talking based on some fact, you need to know what he got before you attempt to answer. So I need to check on that. If there is no fact, by asking him this question, he is immediately going to go to a vague response. Everybody's talking about it. It's out there. You will already know that it is not built on a factual foundation. In his own mind, he also knows he threw something at you, but he couldn't support it. That's the first thing you do, okay? Where exactly did you get this information from? That's all you need to do, right? Now, after that, you have to go into the fact-based answers. Why are people believing that the market will go down now? Because if you see the two objections that you raised, market will go down, prices are going up. They're opposite of each other, aren't they? When do prices go up? When a market is going down? So you see, it's a contradiction. The two cannot come in the same objection. So if the prices are going up, there is a demand and people are buying. That's the only reason why prices will go up. The developers don't wake up in the morning and say, let me add 500 dirhams a square foot to my price. No, they will do it based on the demand. So why do people say the market is going down or correction is coming? They are looking at the traditional property cycles in the market. In a traditional property cycle, you will always have 3 or 4 years of an increase. Then when handovers start happening, there will be a correction or the curve will flatten and then it will drop for 2 to 3 years because you have lots of handovers happening. That is the traditional property cycle all over the world. But Dubai has broken the cycle. We now have a new property curve. The only city in the world that has a new property curve is Dubai. I will draw it and show it to you. But what is the real mistake they're making? They'll compare back to 2014. If you have been following all the reports last year that have been coming out in the newspapers, every time they were saying Dubai has not yet reached 2014 levels. We have not yet peaked at 2014 because we were waiting to hit 2014. So the market is saying once we hit 2014, it will start flattening. So this was the concern that people had and this was the comparison. Now, off-plan hit 2014 peak in September of last year. Secondary market hit the peak in November of last year. Have the prices fallen? No. How come? So something else has happened to the Dubai market. The first problem is they're looking at the Dubai of 2014 and they're comparing the Dubai of 2024. That was 10 years ago. You cannot make that comparison because the city of Dubai today is not the same as in 2014. In 2014, we never had a 10-year golden visa to attract people to come. We didn't have that. So it was only natural when ready inventory comes into the market, people will not pick it up faster. Today, they are waiting for it to come out to pick it up to get the visa. Secondary market transactions went up by 31% last year. So we never had that 10 years ago. We never had an expo. We had never done, or we never built the District 2020. We did not have the economic agenda D33. We did not have the Dubai Urban Master Plan. There was so much that we have today, we didn't have that time. Today, we are the second most stable economy in the world, the US News and Global Reports. Number 1 is Switzerland. Number 2 is the UAE. We did not have this kind of a stable economy 10 years ago. 10 years ago, the millionaires of the world were not leaving their countries and migrating to the UAE. This is a very different city of today. We are number 3 now in the world in top 10 power cities. The Economist survey, August 14th last year. So top 10 cities in the world, Dubai is number 3. We are ahead of London, New York, Paris, Sydney, Tokyo, Johannesburg, where else? Forget all of them. Number 1 is Miami, number 2 is Singapore, right? Now think about this. London is a 2,000-year-old city. Paris is 1,800 years. New York is 490 years old. A 27-year-old city. I'm talking of the new Dubai, okay, not the old one. A 27-year-old city is ahead of all of them today. We are number 3 on the planet as a power city today. This was not the Dubai of 2014. How then can you interpret what will happen today looking at 2014? It just does not make any sense. Okay, so that is the first thing you have to understand. The second problem that people have is they separate real estate from the economic agenda of the city. Big mistake. Once you separate and look at real estate in isolation by itself, you will have a problem explaining prices rising so much over the last 3.5 years. That is a challenge. But you have to connect it to the economic agenda. If I had to use another word for real estate, it's infrastructure. Today, according to the D33 agenda, we will be doubling our economy in the next 10 years. You cannot double your economy. Right now, our economy in Dubai alone is 14.6 trillion dirhams annual. We will be going to 26.2 trillion dirhams by 2033. The target of the government is 32 trillion, but they're aiming for minimum of 26.2. When your economy is going to double in just 10 years, how is it possible that real estate will not grow. I need more offices in the city. I need warehouses. I need hotels. I need residential complexes. I need communities, malls. We need nightclubs, retail, entertainment spaces. We need all of these. Tourism is driving. 17 million were the tourists that came last year. We're number one in the region. That is the reason why. We already have so many hotels. We have 80 new hotels coming up on Palm Jebel Ali. For what? And those haven't even been launched yet to sell. So when you have an economic agenda that's taking you to the top of the world, how is it possible that real estate will not grow? So when you connect the two together, it will become easier to explain. Okay? Not only are we going to be doubling the economy, we are also opening 3 new business corridors. We already have one with China. We've been with the China corridor for the last 8 years. We're now opening Latin America, Southeast Asia, and we are opening Africa. Africa today is the most attractive continent on the planet for business. Half of Africa is already owned by China. All right, so we are opening these 3. Why are we opening Latin America? Because of BRICS. The UAE has already gone into BRICS, so we are now opening into the Latin American countries. Okay, that is going to become the next future powerhouse. The European Union can do nothing. Okay, there's nothing they can do. They've shown it in the last 15 years. The US is shaking. The dollar for the first time in 53 years is going to drop in value. You now have who's in BRICS? You have Russia, India, and China. You put these 3 together, then no one can touch them on the planet. You can do what you want. Now they've invited Saudi Arabia, Iran, and UAE who have joined them. They're already talking about a new currency. So when you have BRICS, that is going to become so powerful, and we have joined that, we are opening a new logistics corridor, economic corridor. We are also going to be doubling, all part of Sheikh Mohammed's D33 agenda. We are going to be doubling the foreign direct investment to 650 billion by 2033. So how does real estate not grow when you're reaching 650 billion? We are also adding 400 new cities to the Dubai trade map. 400, that is doubling. Currently, we are actually trading with 400 cities on the planet. In the last 35 years, we built those connections. In the next 10 years, we will add 400 more. So when you have that kind of a vision and you're growing, we have a very aggressive economy. 4.7% is the projected GDP growth rate this year. The global average, 2%. We are 135% above the global average. The 2 fastest growing economies in the world, India and China. India is at 4.7 and China is at 5.5. Dubai is now projected to do 4.7%. We are up there. The US, 1.3%. So how is it possible when an economy is growing strongly that real estate will not grow? The population that is going to grow as a result of the 2040 and 2033 plan is 250,000 people every year, starting from this year. We are now at 3.65 million population. We will go to 6 million by 2033, and we will go to 7.8 million by 2040. It is important that you know the reports and the numbers. Because any smart businessman, when you show him these numbers and the growth trend, he cannot dispute the fact that real estate has to grow. How many transactions happened last year? Last year, you should know, you had enough time to check it out, right? You're in February. Do you know that the highest transactions we have ever had in the market was last year? The last 3 years have all been record-breaking years. In 2022, we did 533 billion. For the first time, we crossed the $500 billion mark. That was in 2022. Last year, we have clocked 634 billion. Go to the Dubai media office, Sheikh Mohammed's office, there is a post on this. 634 billion, which was a 20% increase over 2022. We have broken the record again. And 2023 prices were much, much higher than 2022. Agreed? How did it become our biggest selling year? If the prices had increased, how did it happen? The number of transactions was 166,000 transactions. The jump was 36% in the number of transactions. So try and fit this logically. Prices are going up, but transaction value has increased by 36% in a market where the prices are going up. Off-plan sales, cash sales, not necessarily only off-plan, people who paid cash, even for secondary, was 412 billion. It was an increase of 55% over the previous year. It's all there. Just simply follow Dubai Media Office on your Instagram, screenshot it. Everything is there, what I'm telling you. Last year, we had 71,000 new buyers, first-time buyers. Do you know what that means? 43% of the people who bought last year were first-time buyers. What does that tell you about the city? Exactly. Also, because of the rental migration which is happening in Dubai today, there is a rental migration. Last year, we announced it. We did podcasts. We talked about this. We said there is a new type of buyer coming up in Dubai, the first-time home buyer. And the first-time home buyers have started coming up because rents have gone up 44% in the last 3 years. It's projected to go up 20% this year. So people are getting hurt by the rent. That is true, but because of the demand. You have 250,000 people coming every year. Now let's break down those numbers. What is the average family size in Dubai? 5.3. 5.3 is the average family size. You can get this information from CEIC, the Census and Economic Information Center. How do they calculate 5.3 per home? But through the number of ijaris that are renewed or new ones issued. In that you have the tenants. So they calculate from there. Let's just take it as 5 people to a family. When 250,000 people are coming every year, you need an average of 50,000 homes, either for people to buy or to rent. I need new homes to rent, that much. How many units were handed over last year? 36,700 units. What is the expectation over the next 5 years? From 24 to 28, there will be another 60,000 units handed over. You're talking approximately 12,000 units every single year. Dubai is short by 38,000 homes every year for the next 5 years. That is why last year in September, every major newspaper, all the 4 major newspapers carried a headline, Dubai to face housing shortage in both the ultra luxury as well as affordable category. Where is this information coming from? From the D33 agenda, which is making the world come to Dubai. We have a projected increase. We know we are short. We are short in the ultra high net worth category as well. So I need more rooms in the city. So what are the developers doing now? All the launches you saw from August of 2020, after we came out of the lockdown, from August 2020 till the end of last year, all the launches that you saw are now getting handed over, okay, from now till 2028. But we are already short just on that for 2 reasons. There is a new type of buyer coming to the market, the first-time buyer who doesn't want to rent. Plus, there is 250,000 people every year coming in. So we are actually short of these homes. So the developers who are continuing to launch now are launching in line with the D33 agenda, so that by 27, 28, and for the next 3 to 4 years, all these launches which will happen now will start handing over. Because we need homes. So when people are launching now, it is not because of the next 2 to 3 years. It's for the next 4 years and beyond, because we are short. No developer wakes up in the morning and says, let me just launch. You think the Imars, the Nakils, the Mirases, and the Damaks don't have any understanding of market dynamics? No one is going to create that kind of liability. Palm Jebel Ali, when it launched late last year, we've only had about 8% of the palm has been opened to people. It's a 200 billion project. with 80 hotels, 80 hotels coming up there. Nakhil is not going to launch a 200 billion liability on itself for the next few years if there is going to be no demand. Oasis by Emaar, gone through 3 phases, is a 20 billion project. The master developers are announcing these. Creek Harbour is going to expand again if you've been following the news. All right. Now, we are having Maritime City going crazy. We have the waterfront locations which are all selling more and more. Why is this happening? This year, there'll be 2 new master developments from Emaar alone. 2 new ones. We're not talking of inventory. In the existing ones, inventory will come out. 2 new master developments. You think they don't understand the market? So when you separate real estate from the economic agenda of Dubai, you will be in trouble trying to explain it. But when you show them the economic agenda, it becomes easy to explain it. There is demand and we don't have enough homes. That is the reason why every single year you are going to see more and more launches coming and prices are going to go up. For a unit that was sold in 2022, the average price was 1.9 for the year. The average price of a unit last year, 3.8. 3.8. Why? Because demand was making the price go up. Millionaires are starting to come to the city. So high net worth, $10 million and above homes, we have a shortage. So premium inventory started coming into the market. Even someone like a Bin Ghazi went with a Jacob, then they went with a Bugatti, and now they're gone with a Mercedes, because these are the homes that the millionaires are looking for. We don't just want a tower, we don't just want a community. And so the average price per unit being sold is also going up. It's an indicator of who's coming into the market. Now, that's causing the rental migrations and it's causing people to think about buying. That's why you had 71,000 new buyers last year. What is the rental migration? Okay, the rental migration is as rents are going up because of demand. When people are coming into the city, existing people start to shift. So if I'm staying in a 3-bedroom or a 4-bedroom on Palm Jumeirah and I'm paying 350,000 a year for rent, the landlords now are asking 450. Why? If you don't want to stay, you can move. I've got millionaires coming in, they're ready to pay it. Because when a millionaire is coming now with his family, he will invest in off-land, but he needs a place to stay. So either he'll buy it or he'll rent for now. So now the landlords are saying 450. So the guy who's paying 350 says too much. So what does he do? He migrates to Dubai Marina. Now when he goes to Dubai Marina, you can get a very swanky 4-bedroom in 220,000. But now that landlord knows the 350 guy is coming. He says, I want 270. And the person is ready to pay 270 because he doesn't want to pay 450. So because the people who lived on Palm Jumeirah are moving to Dubai Marina, the premium in Dubai Marina goes up. The landlords do that. So what happens now to the guy staying in Dubai Marina? Too much. He goes to JLT. This is the migration that we are seeing happening, okay? So in JLT, he can get his 3-bedroom or his 4-bedroom at probably 170 or 185,000. Now that landlord says 210. So those who are in the JLTs and the business bays are moving into the JVTs, the Arjans, the Furjans, they're going into the Dubai land. That's a migration. So people are moving because the rents are going up for 2 reasons. 1, more people are coming into the city, therefore there is demand. 2, the millionaires are coming in and picking up the high-end properties. So it's just causing the demand to go across the city. It's a rental migration. This has happened in every city on the planet. So there is no reason that Dubai will have to operate different. Because of the rents going up, the new home buyer is showing up. You will see areas like JVC, JVT, Furjan, Arjan, Dubai Land, Town Square, Dubai South. These areas are going to be jumping or peaking in transactions. Last year, they were already among the top areas besides the traditional Dubai Marina, Palm Jumeirah area. So people are coming in. That is the reason why 1% plans are showing up by all developers in those areas. If you notice the trend, lot of 1% plans are coming up, and they're coming up in those areas. You will see a lot of new developers entering the market, but they're all coming into those areas. So why are they giving the 1% plans? Because when I'm a first-time home buyer, even if I want to invest, I cannot pay large amounts. Even if I'm saying I'll absorb the rental hit for 3 years, but I want my own home. But I cannot afford to pay those heavy down payments and 10% every 3 months or 6 months. So the developers are telling them, we will give you the 1%. Now, even if you're going into something which is ready in that area, you will get post-handover payment plans for a longer period in time. Because this type of new buyer who's coming up, it is not easy for him to get a mortgage. The people who got the millions will get the mortgage easily. Most of them don't even need it. They will pick up the home. But these people who are now buying, where they're paying a 1%, 8,000, 12,000, 14,000 a month, when they go to the bank with all the documents, they already have a low credit rating. They've got credit cards, they've got car loans, they've got personal loans. And so the amount that can be recovered from their salary packages is very small. It does not cover the installments. And therefore, there is a much higher probability that many of them who apply for the mortgage will get it rejected. Or the bank will tell them you have to pay 40% up, or you have to pay 60% upfront. We can only give you this much because the payback is minimum. We can't cross 60% of a person's salary by law from the central bank. So I cannot recover my money. So you'll have to put more cash up front. You get a smaller loan. Now they can't do that. That is why the developers are saying, we will mark up on the price a little bit. We'll give you 7 years and 8 years like a mortgage. Come in at a 1% every month. You will see more and more of these happening to support these first-time home buyers. They are going to go into these type of areas. So the demand is there. So why will the prices not go up? Where is the market going to come down that there will be too many units? We are short of units. Now let's pull some of this together. I'll share some more information on this and then we'll get into lead management, okay? All the international reports, Knight Frank, CBRE, Seville's Prime Real Estate Index, all of them are showing Dubai will have the highest growth this year on the planet. These are the international reports, okay? Don't throw Property Monitor in their face because your clients will say that's a local report. Maybe the information is not accurate. But they cannot question Knight Frank. They cannot, because it's a 145-year-old company and they are monitoring real estate trends in over 90 countries. So when you use these reports, the reports are saying Dubai will be going up even this year. So that's the international reports supporting the growth. You have developers launching, yes or no? All the time, right? So they are launching inventory. Would they launch if no one is there to buy? Won't make sense, right? Are the launches selling out? Yes or no? So the international reports are saying Dubai is going to have a great run this year. The developers are putting inventory into the market. All the inventory is selling out in 3 hours and 4 hours. So you meet this one guy who will tell you, no, Dubai is a bubble, or prices have gone too high, or the market will turn. He has no clue what he's talking about. That is why you always start by asking them, where exactly did you get this information from? And that's when they will tell you things like, no, my friend has invested in property here. He's advised me. He's been doing this for many years. He owns 50 properties here. You can own 500 properties here. You are not smarter than 166,000 millionaires who just invested 634 billion in 12 months last year. You think they are not aware that prices are going up? You think they are not aware that your inventory is being handed over? But they will come and throw that at you. And they will act like as if they know everything. So your job is just to question them. I'm glad you brought that up. Where exactly did you get it from? You will never get a tangible answer to that question. You had a question, right?
Yes, I just want to say, now, we see globally, also Saudi Arabia is coming up with
Absolutely.
a massive project. And people, you realize, okay, why not Saudi Arabia? I know like Dubai has a bigger history in terms of real estate, and now they are putting the plan for 10 years in Saudi Arabia. So comparing to this, how can we kind of close the objection? Second one, question, there's a lot of buyers coming in the market and they want to buy and flip.
Yes.
We are talking about maybe, I don't know the percentage how we can also you know, handle this by the upcoming projects coming in the market. So
Okay.
will be more demand supply or how to
Again, two questions here. Two questions. Let's go to Saudi Arabia first. Saudi Arabia is on a roll, and we want that to happen. We want the Middle East to attract more attention than the Americas or Europe or Asia. So when you have more and more players changing their strategy for long-term development, it is good for everybody in the Middle East. The current value of real estate in the Middle East is $1.3 trillion. $1.3 trillion. CBRE will give you this information. Coldwell banker Richard Ellis. You can actually follow them on Instagram. You will see this report there. It came out in the middle of last year. CBRE, MENA, Middle East and North Africa. Just follow that page on Instagram. You can go to the website and download PDFs. So you got $1.3 trillion of real estate now in the Middle East. 64% of that is Saudi Arabia. The NEOM project alone is $500 billion. From 1.3 trillion, that one project itself is $500 billion. You've got Diriyah Gate, and you have a few more projects coming up there, okay? Dubai is 21.3%, one-third of Saudi Arabia's opportunity. One-third is Dubai. But what we have to look at now is the volume of sellout that is happening. What is selling in NEOM and Diriyah Gate compared to what is selling in Dubai? We now have Ras Al Khaimah, which is also an attractive place to invest. So everything is moving upwards. The challenge with Saudi Arabia, and finally they're opening their mind, alcohol stores are being announced, right? So it is a step in the right direction, at least for their economy, if you want to attract international investors. But the culture, the lifestyle is going to take a good 10 to 15 years still. I will invest there so I can make money, but there's no chance in hell I'm taking my family to live in Saudi Arabia. It will take a lot more before they will be able to attract that. But they are opening up in a big way, which is good for us because it means we cannot be complacent. We will have to think differently. Don't be surprised if they make a major decision and start saying casinos will be okay. Don't be surprised. They're opening up. If they can allow the alcohol today, why won't they allow the casino? They'll bend the rules a little bit. They'll put it a little outside the city, but they will do it. It will come. We are stupid as a city if we sit here believing we are untouchable and no one else is going to wake up. So, more taxes. Yeah, okay. But again, they're attracting more and more of the multinational companies to go in there. So the fact is, Saudi Arabia will be a very attractive competition to us. But we are competing on that edge, being ahead in time on the lifestyle that we have. How many people, talk to your friends who are overseas, okay? Ask them, given a choice between Jeddah and Dubai, where would you go with your family? Take Riyadh. Take Riyadh. Take anyone. Ask most of your families, where would you like to go?
I think the reputation in Saudi Arabia is completely different than the reputation in Dubai. And
Absolutely.
That's what really helps Dubai out.
Yes, it's not only reputation. Your reputation is built on what you deliver as a performance. So Saudi Arabia is not friendly in the international traveler's mind. How many tourists will want to go there? For religious tourism, yes, they will definitely. We don't have anything to offer in that area, but we're not competing in that area, right? So this is the challenge that Saudi Arabia has. What happens during Eid and New Year holidays? Do people go to Saudi Arabia or do they come here?
Yeah, because Saudi Arabia is still like Riyadh and Jeddah, they still, a woman going during the street is still to be full covered. Yeah. Some areas are open, but it's still like 80% of Saudi Arabia.
Which is the reason why it will take them 10 years. A lot of those things will disappear, but it is not there for now. So Dubai's vision is clear. We have the edge. When we find someone's catching up, we'll get more creative and innovative and we'll bring out something else. So it is good. Saudi Arabia is good for us. I, for one, fully support it. So I don't think we have an issue with that. That was the first thing. What was the second question? I forgot.
About the people that are coming to buy and flip
The flipping, yes. It is true that investors in an aggressive market want to flip. That is why developers will put certain controls in place. The government developers will be more stiff about this. For example, EMAR would not allow you to flip until 50% payment is made. Now, when you do a 50% payment, either you pay it up front, but then flipping does not make sense because your returns are not good. I'll have to keep it for some time, so the capital appreciation is attractive. So I'll stay on the plan, and the plan will take me through 2 years for sure before I hit the 50%. The reason they want to do that is to cool the market. But the private developers are more flexible. A Damac will allow in 30%, and Azizi will allow in 30%, and you'll have a Shobha that's allowing at 40%. So they will allow people to flip. At this point in time, however, we have so many new launches coming up that the new buyer coming in today is going to get an attractive opportunity at the lowest possible price at the launch. So the flipper can only take advantage and have higher appreciation when there is no launches happening. So people have to come to me. So it is not going to be that easy. So if they are coming, The flipper is coming with what mindset? The previous market cycles, how he made his money. We are not in that cycle anymore. They need to really understand this, otherwise they're going to be upset after some time.
Okay, how do you convince them to buy?
How you convince them to buy? Are you talking investors or homeowners?
No, like investors, like he wants to flip, like he wants, okay, this launch in Dubai click harder, but he wants to flip like in 1-2 years, and click harder will keep launching. So
In 2 years, you can easily flip because we are short of homes. Understand that. We are short of homes, 38,000 homes next year. We are short 38,000. So we are short almost 80,000 homes in 2 years' time. The opportunity will be there. But the flipping that's going to happen now will not be attractive. So he'll have to hold it for that much time. There is no question about it. The government is smart. They have learned from the previous cycles. So everything is being controlled. This is the first city that has changed the traditional property cycle or the curve in the market.
And there is concern with everybody. Like after we give all the information to the client, and he have everything, and he's loving the project so much, and everything is okay, so give me some time to think.
Okay,
What should we do?
great. Okay, now, first thing is, if a person is saying, give me some time to think, you need to do two different things. In your selling process, you have to be using what's called pulse checks. The first thing I got to do in my qualifying is what? What are the 4 things you have to find out when you qualify? The need?
Money.
The money? No, money is second thing. First need. First need. Timeline. How soon are they looking at investing, right? But when you qualify, you got to nail them. Use a linking approach. You never ask the questions separate from each other. So what's the reason you're looking to buy today? Well, I'm looking for a home for myself. I understand. Okay, how many bedrooms are we talking about? What kind of home? Do you have a particular community in mind? What else is important in the community as a lifestyle before you make a decision? This is all the need qualification. Now do a linking approach. So I would simply say, so Ahmed, for that kind of a home, 4-bedroom, in Tilal Al Gaf, overlooking the lake, how much are you looking at investing? You link to the money question. You'll never ask them separate. Not in isolation. You'll get better answers. Then timeline, it has to be linked. So Ahmed, let's say I could find you that kind of a home, a 4-bedroom in Tilal Al Gaf, overlooking the lake, and I could actually get it for you in that 14.5 million. How soon are you looking to buy? You have to establish these upfront, okay? After that, once I've finished my qualifying, I will summarize the qualifying and make him say yes. So Ahmed, from what you told me, you're interested in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and for that, you can invest up to this much money, and you could make a decision within the next 2 weeks. Is that correct? Get the yes first, before you will even start presenting solution. So when they tell you the yes, listen to the tone of voice. If the tone is well, yeah, that's what I'm looking for, perfect. Only now you will start presenting solution. If you ask him this question, he says, well, yeah, I guess so. That is not a yes. It's on a scale of 1 to 10, it's like a 50. I'll simply ask, Ahmed, what else do we need to take care of before you own this home? Pull all these out first. Then start doing your presentation. Use pulse checks when you present to see if he is emotionally connected to what you're saying and doing at every stage in the process. Example, you're presenting, I don't know, something in Arabian Ranches 3 or an Emaar beachfront, and you're in the Emaar sales center. When you are presenting at the model, I have to check at the model, is he actually believing in what I showed him? Is there an emotional connect? So don't present the model and leave from there to show another model or jump in a car and drive. No. I need to check, is he with me, invested at that moment? So what do I do at the model? Finish the presentation, take the name of the client. So Ahmed, what questions do you have about Emaar beachfront? Don't ask, do you have any questions? That's a closed question. So Ahmed, what questions do you have about Emaar beachfront? Answer the questions. Then you will say, so what did you like about Emaar beachfront? That's my pulse check. I want to see if he has really liked anything there. And the tone of voice will tell you, the confidence in his answer will give you an indicator. So what did you like at Emaar beachfront? Well, I like 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. What else? Just do that. Then I will simply say, so Ahmed, can you see yourself and family living in this community for, say, the next 5 to 8 years? You will get your answer there. If they say, well, yeah, I can see that. Now I know he is with me emotionally at that stage in the process. So if you do this in every stage and get the confirmation from the person, it is hard for the person to say, let me think about it. Even if they still tell you, let me think about it, there's 2 things for you to keep in mind. So I'm going to draw it here. I just hope the guys at the back can see it.
I'm going to ask. Guys, who's not able to see screen, make your hands up. Screen. Everyone can see the screen?
This screen or this screen?
This screen, this screen. TV screen. Okay, take your chair, move this side, move in the middle. Screen, also move. Come. You can see?
Continue, and what we are trying to do here is, we have done our presentation, done all our checks in between, and the client still says, let me think about this. Now think logically. If a person has come all the way to meet you, there is some interest. Agree, disagree? Now, I have qualified correctly and confirmed with him, and he said, yes, that's what I'm looking for. Now, if you show him exactly what he's looking for in that price, why would he say then, let me think about it? So something has gone wrong here. It will usually be one of 2 things. The first thing is, how does this client make his decision? Did you check if they are left-brained in their decision-making or right-brained in decision-making? Yes. There you go. Because right-brained buyers process information differently, they will communicate it differently, and they will decide differently on the same house, on the same investment. A left brain will process the same information differently. Now, if I have not qualified this in my client, how did you do your presentation? How did you do the qualifying? Did I use left brain language with a right brain client? He doesn't get it. That is why we are doing these sessions with you. Okay? Because you need to understand that. Think of it as 2 rooms inside a house. I always use this example. There's a left brain and a right brain. 2 rooms in a house. You're sitting in one room, client is sitting in the other room. How will you even have a conversation? So what do you need to do? Even if the client understands these dynamics, he's not going to leave his room. Why? That's his area of comfort. You will have to leave your room, get into his room, and now you can have the conversation. Now you will be presenting it the way he likes to hear it, the way he will understand it. Otherwise, you sit in your side of the head and you present it, and it's making sense to who? To you. And you're absolutely convinced about it. You cannot understand why they cannot see that this is making sense, because you presented to someone like you, but he sits somewhere else. This is one problem. The second problem you'll have is, how many brains do we have? 3. You have 3 brains, not 1. Okay? It looks like 1 because it's all one on top of the other. They're layered. Now, all the 3 brains have to be involved in the presentation and the decision making. Now, imagine if you're not even aware of this, how do you know at what point in your phone call, on your WhatsApp, face to face, how do you know which brain you're engaging? So now, you will probably, by default, speak to one of the three brains. That by default is going to happen. Now comes the decision-making moment, right? You're asking for, so how do you want to make the down payment? Let me think about it. That's what's coming, right? So at that moment, it is decision for the client. But all three brains have to be involved in the decision-making. So think of it as this little conference table in the head. Okay? And I got three decision makers sitting at the conference table. And I'm asking the client now, so which unit would you like to go for? Or how would you like to make the down payment? A closing question, right? So you spoke to one brain. That brain was super excited. I don't know, whichever one. You could have spoken to the logical brain. You could have spoken to the emotional brain. You could have spoken to the action-oriented brain, depending on your approach. So whichever brain you spoke at, he loves it. He's excited. So he sits at the table, but then you have a problem with the other two brains. You never spoke to them. Now comes decision making in here. This brain says, guys, what do we do now? We have to make a decision. So the other two brains say, decision about what? I mean, haven't you been listening? This guy has been talking for 1 hour with us. So we need to make a decision. So the two brains tell him, he spoke to you, not to us. We have no idea what you're talking about. So sorry, we cannot make a decision. So what ends up happening? And what will they tell you? Let me think about this. What they're actually telling you is, you did not engage all my three brains. Therefore, I need to think about this. I need to figure it. This is one way it happens. So you should have a different technique to handle it. It is not in today's session. It's an objection handling technique. But you can learn the most powerful technique of dealing with this if you get onto YouTube and put down the looping technique. Write it down, looping technique, L-O-O-P-I-N-G. This is the straight line persuasion selling method by Jordan Belfort. The looping technique is the most powerful technique that we know today to handle, let me think about it. If I have time during one of our sessions, I'm here for 4 sessions, I will do the looping technique because it takes time, okay? It takes ease. Jordan Belfort, Wolf of Wall Street, straight line. Yes, a movie. Jordan Belfort is the guy in the movie. And the technique, the looping technique, was actually taken from real estate selling in New York, and he used it for selling stock and investments, okay? Very powerful technique. It's got a 3-loop method. It uses a pattern of 3. I don't want to get into that right now because it will take another good 20 minutes from me. But watch the video. Very, very good technique, okay? It starts by deflecting the objection. Because let me think about it is not an objection. It could be an excuse, or it's his way of telling you, I didn't get it yet. So I will need to loop him back into the presentation or the pitch to re-emphasize the pitch so that he will move from the, I need to think about it, to start looking at why did he come in the first place? What was it that actually even attracted him to this? So the looping technique will take you back. And the way to do that is by just deflecting. Client says, you know what, let me think about this. You'll simply say, I hear what you're saying. But let me ask you this in general. Do you like this property? They have to say yes. Yes. They have to say yes, right? So you mirror and match the tone. And so let's say, okay, let me just do that first part with you. It's a 3-part loop. I'll just do the first part. I hear what you're saying. But let me ask you this. In general, do you like this opportunity? Well, yeah, I love this opportunity. I'll say exactly. I'll match his tone. Exactly. What really works for you in this opportunity, go back to the top 3 benefits that you talked about, the reasons. What really works for you in this opportunity is 1, 2, 3. Make sense? Sounds good? They will tell you, well, yeah, that makes sense. And you'll notice their tone goes up. So I've redirected them back into the benefit. Then I will ask another question. Now, Ahmed, if you knew me for the last 3 years and I gave you opportunity after opportunity and they all got you some amazing results, you really wouldn't be saying to me today, let me think about this, would you? Again, they'll have to say what? Well, if I knew you, I wouldn't be saying this. Then I'll simply say, now that I understand. Let me quickly tell you what I do. In the last 3 years, this is where you will bring your pitch about yourself. And you'll end it again by saying, makes sense? Sounds good? So what you're doing is you're reorientating his mind. Redirect to the benefits, the loop, and remind him about who you are. And then you will do the third part of that on the developer or the community or REM and why so many people trust REM. And through that loop, you will then go with the close. It's a pattern. Just watch it. And Jordan explains it really, really well.
And for people which is saying, let me talk, discuss with my wife.
Okay, that is your mistake. Listen, a home is always going to be a collaborative decision. Always. If somebody shows up, think logically, okay? Put yourself in the buyer's place. In the buyer's place. Of course, I want to discuss. Maybe the wife said, you know what? Just go and check what they have. Maybe he said on the way back from work, I'll go in and check. Can happen, right? However, when he comes, he is seeing that community for the first time, true? So you will present it and you will do a good job because you presented it 200 times. But there is no decision going to come because he needs to check with somebody else. So even if I go ahead with the presentation, by the time he walks back to the car, 80% of what he said is gone. By the time he reaches home, 90% is gone. And then his wife will say, how was it? What do you think he's going to say? Barely 10%, weak, without the right conviction in it. He's going to say to her, you think she's going to get excited when a weak pitch on 10% is given to her? And then she'll ask a couple of very specific questions. He doesn't have the answer. What is she going to tell him? You know what? Forget this. Let's look at something else. So it's a sheer waste of your time if you are pitching with people, homeowners, and only one person has come. Be smart about it. Recognize there is no deal today. So I'm not going to waste 2 hours sitting here and then taking him in a car and showing him. Start by suggesting, from our experience, home buying is a very emotional decision. Those families that pick up the best homes always do it when they come together. The families that bought in this community actually made the decision when they came together. Can we have your wife join us for a meeting? Because there is no deal coming. You can waste your time if you want. I'm telling you there is no deal, okay? Either that. They will tell you my wife is sick, she's traveling, the kids are at home, whatever it is, okay? You can suggest that she joins on a Zoom. Say, I understand. In fact, many of my clients, their wives are busy as well. But they wanted to be part of the process, so we quickly got onto a Zoom. The wife could join us or the husband could join us. I answered questions for both of them so they could make a better decision together. Why don't we get your wife to join us on a Zoom? You have more effectiveness in the presentation. Okay? And if you're qualifying correctly in the beginning, the need, the money, how soon are you looking to buy? And then the decision maker. Would there be anybody else in this decision? Well, no, it's just me. Then you're okay. If they say, well, I have to check with my uncle, my wife, my brother, don't present. Nothing is going to happen. You will think that they are going to take the pitch the same way you did it and give it to somebody else. Not happening. Sheer waste of time. Last question. We need to get into content. But this is also good. You guys are learning. Zoom. He can join us on a Zoom. And all my business partners traveling, he's in the UK. I'll say, I understand. In fact, many of our investors, their partners are usually busy traveling all over the globe. But because the investment was important for them, they always took 20 minutes and got onto a Zoom with us so they could make a better decision. Yeah.
Quick question. What's the best way to ask the client to bring a checkbook with him?
Sorry?
What is the best question to ask the client to bring a checkbook with him?
To bring in the checkbook with him. My God, this is so Damak. This is the Damak way of doing this. All right. Okay.
Sometimes I need this because I was very close to this, but because of
Just ask it in the third party. Third party. From our experience, when investors have come and identified a property that they love, they understand how quickly properties are moving in the current market. So they carry with them a checkbook or a card so they can put the initial booking amount so they can secure the property. And then they've got the time to go back and arrange for the rest. So in case we could find you something that you absolutely love and you also believe that this is going to be what you want, why don't we secure it today when you come? Last question, okay, guys, I'm getting onto content.
The competition between Dubai and Abu Dhabi.
Yes, there's no competition.
No, there is a lot of people coming and asking about Abu Dhabi. Really, nowadays, wants to know. They want to be there.
Okay, my first thing would be, I would say Abu Dhabi is an amazing city as well. But I'm curious, what exactly would you like to know about Abu Dhabi? Don't just sit there and become this concierge of information. I mean, how is that going to help you with your decision in Dubai today? Don't just sit there and give them these answers. They will take all your time, get all the information, and you're nowhere close to the deal. Okay, I'm going to just get into this session. I'm passing handouts. There should be, I was told 80. Okay, so I brought about 80. I think you're more than 80. You may just have to make a few copies. Just break them a few, like 10, 10, 10. And just pass a few down there. All right, okay. So now, we're going to get into the lead management part. Okay, guys, settle down. At the back. Can you guys just settle down? Okay. Now, so we're going to start with the lead management, but there was one question that was asked, which is coming up a lot in the market now. So let's talk about that. Let's understand the dynamic, what's happening behind it, and let's see how to deal with it. Because you will hear this a lot. One of the concerns being raised by clients is off-plan prices have now gone more expensive than ready units in the same community. Okay, so this is one thing you will hear a lot. Or they will tell you a phase 1 launch was cheaper than the phase 2 launch. Okay, so how would you deal with this? The first thing you need to understand yourself, that every time let's talk of a ready unit in the secondary which is available versus the off-plan launches in the same community. Or it could be a phase 2, phase 3 launch. Whenever you buy a unit that is ready, you will always lose on price. You will only earn in rental yields and then the capital appreciation after that, because every home that is ready has already appreciated 70 to 80%. So when you are going to invest 3 million in a ready home, the original buyer probably bought it at 1.7 or 1.8. So what you are doing when you buy into that home is you are actually helping the original buyer, not yourself. For you now, you will only make a rental yield from that moment onwards. But your neighbors who have bought early and have retained it are actually making a whole lot more than you. Secondly, when you want to sell that home maybe in the future again, the people who bought next to you can come 200,000 lesser than you and they'll still make more than you because they bought it at a 1.7 and you picked it up at a 3. What they're doing is they're looking at this moment in time. So they're looking at a ready unit now without realizing how much it was launched at. And they're forgetting to see that if you're getting a new unit at 3.5 today, it's going to be 5 million in the next 4 years. So they are not looking at that dynamic. Any ready unit is always going to be much more expensive than the original price. So as an investor, bring them to a common platform, which is dollar to dollar. If I buy a 3 million ready inventory, how much rental yield could I get in a year? 8 to 10%, let's say, depending on the area. That's my rental yield typically, right? For that 3 million. And there could be a capital appreciation also in the market at that time. If I'm buying at 3.5 million, what is the capital appreciation right now in the market? Capital appreciation?
20 to 30%.
There you go. Last year was 19.4% was the average across the market. Villas went up 22% apartments went up 22%, villas went up 17.6%. Average in the market was 19%. Just take 15%. Or just take 10%.
A year.
A year. Yeah, last year's numbers, it's all out. It was 19.6%. Okay, so take 10%. So a 10% increase on my 3.5 million villa is how much? 350,000. If I'm going to sell it, at that point, developers will allow you, some of them at 30%, some will allow at 40%, right? Usually you bought it on a payment plan. Could be 3-year plan, 4-year plan. In the first year, you'll normally pay about 30%. So on 3.5 million, you'll pay about $1 million. So on $1 million, if I'm going to encash it by selling it, and I make 350,000, how much did I make? 35%. So which is a smarter investment for you? For every dollar that you're going to put in that ready home now, you will make an 8%. But for the same dollar that you put into the off plan now, you'll make 35%. Which one makes more sense as an investor? Exactly. And think about it logically. Every launch is selling out. Even if it is more expensive, you think they don't know the prices of ready homes? So why are they buying? Because they understand for every dollar that I put in a phase 3 launch or in a ready to move in unit, I'm making lesser than what I will make for my dollar here. So bring it to a common platform, which is dollar to dollar in the investment. So that is what you have to do. Because you cannot, firstly, you're not comparing the two similar products. As an investor, he's looking at price. He's not looking at performance. The performance of the ready unit is smaller than the performance of off-plan. That is why everybody is buying the off-plan. So what's the reason you're looking to invest? Are you looking because of the price or are you looking because of the return? It always has to be the return. Okay?
It's good for homeowners.
What? A homeowner understands he's not buying it for a ROI. He's buying it for an experience ROI. I'm investing so I can live in the community. My kids can use the pools on the weekend. There are weekend activities and bazaars and parks, and that's what they're buying. And there is the gradual appreciation because their appreciation is not as high as the new launches in the same community. But I have bought it for a lifestyle ROI, not for a return in cash. The investor has bought it for that. Okay? Now, what I want to introduce to you all today is this concept of lead management, right? Lead management is about lead generation, and it is about how you will manage your pipelines. So let's take a look at that today. I'll see how much I can finish today because you guys just have a lot of questions. Okay, the first thing I want to talk about here is sales is always going to be dependent on the attitude of the salesperson and not the attitude of the prospect. Please understand this. W. Clement Stone was the richest man in the world during his days. He was in the US. This guy knew what he was talking about. He said for a sale to happen, it is dependent on the attitude of the salesperson, not the attitude of the prospect. People can come anxious. They can come negative. They may have lost in previous purchases. They may be very aggressive or hostile. They may be coming as tough negotiators. They'll carry any attitude they want. You as a salesperson can have only one attitude, the right one. If you have the right one, you will be able to influence and change their attitude so they move from the resistance to buy mindset to the willingness to buy mindset. Okay? Another important quote I would like to put here, this actually comes from me, right? Respect your leads before you will expect them to respect you. Learn to respect your leads. What's the cost of a lead? Any idea? 200? 200 to 300. Anyone else? Cost of a lead? 600. Depends on the campaign, depends on the project, depends on the platform you're using, right? The average cost of a lead in the Dubai market today is 2.1 million dirhams. Why are we creating these leads? To get revenue from it, right? So the lead is costing me on an average 2.1 million if I don't respect the lead enough and I don't use the right approach with the lead. Please understand that. When you think of it differently, you already have the 300, 600 dirhams with you anyway, right? The value of the lead is this. Now, an outbound lead, or where you are trying to call out on a database, could be an old lead, will have a different conversion. But the inbound lead, the person who's come and put all his details, there is some interest at least. Your attitude towards the lead and your approach has to change. Respect the lead first before you will expect the lead to respect you. Okay, now the mistake that we make in sales, and I've seen this with a lot of brokers, is we have this expectation that if a guy has given you his details and you contact him, he's going to jump into his car and come and spend 3 hours with you in the desert. That is never going to happen. Never going to happen. A lead, by definition, is an opening for you to explore the possibility of the business. A lead, by definition, is not a guaranteed close. I have to convert the lead into a prospect first. A prospect has got the potential. So when I have a phone call that's going out, a Zoom meeting, or even if I start the engagement on a WhatsApp, my strategy has to change. When people give you their details, they are in a curiosity mindset. I'm curious. This is looking interesting. I want more information. They are not clicking because I love this thing, I'm going to buy. They can go directly then to a developer also, right? So they are curious. They want to know more. Your role or your approach in your call or your communication, whichever channel, is to move them from curiosity to serious intent. That's the first thing you have to do in your approach. Because when they are curious, they will not give you 3 hours. They are millionaires. They have better things to do. What will they tell you? Send me WhatsApp. Send me an email. Because they're just curious. But if I can change the curiosity into serious intent, I'm now willing to consider 2 hours with you in the desert. So without shifting them to serious intent, don't suggest the meeting. You have a higher rejection rate when you do not convert into serious intent. And every time you're on the phone, you reach out to people and you don't create serious intent in your approach, there's a high probability you'll get, send me WhatsApp, send me this. So what happens in our minds? Guy's not interested. He's wasting my time. And once that idea sinks into your head, you are done on leads. Now, this idea can get into your head in 2 ways. When you come and join a company, there will be people who've got more experience than you. When you are new and you join a company, you will be open to listening to anybody. Because I need to learn, I need to grow. But you cannot yet qualify that the person you're listening to, is that the right kind of person to listen to? So be very, very careful, especially those of you who are new. You want to know, and that is good. You are highly absorbent. But you're not mature enough, when I say mature enough, not mature enough in REM yet, to be able to figure out that the person who's talking to me, are they the right kind of people to tell me what I need to know? So you can end up having average people putting their belief about leads into your head. Be very careful. That's the first thing that will happen. The second thing, change this belief that a lead is jumping into a car and coming. Understand, when the person has given his details, what are they actually saying? Can someone reach out to me? I need to discuss this and see if this will be a good opportunity for me. That is the intent. So I reach out to help him with that. Third thing to keep in mind about leads. When you understand these things, you will know why you need to have good follow-ups with leads, okay? Third thing, when I am looking for a property, I don't know who's calling me back. This is looking interesting, but I have no clue. The person who's calling me, are they competent? Are they confident? Can they really advise me based on what is happening in the market that I'm putting my money in a good opportunity? I don't know who's calling me. So what I will do, because it's my investment, I will contact 4 or 5. Nobody gets online, looks at one thing, clicks and gets offline. Because the moment you get onto any campaign, Meta, Google, anything, once you get in there, artificial intelligence will kick in and show you similar opportunities. So you will click on 4 or 5, and as a buyer, I don't have to tell you I have checked on other ones. It's my money. Why do I have to tell you that? So I will take your call the first time, but I'm also going to be taking a few other calls. Maybe you sound good, maybe you make sense. There might be someone who makes more sense than you. So I will wait for my first contact from all those 4 or 5, and then whoever impressed me the most, whoever had the right answers for me, I'll work with that person and ghost the rest. So get out of this head where you think everybody is going to just say, yes, yes, no problem. When can I come? Are you free right now? I'm ready to come. Not going to happen. When was the last time you had a lead that did that? So you already know from experience they don't do that. All right, leads have to be worked into the system. You need to have a proper lead management strategy. Think about when you used to receive calls from any company that's promoting its product. You told them, yeah, no problem, I'll come now in 3 hours. Did you do that? They had to work with you. They had to answer your questions, break your resistances, show them that they are the right people to work with, win your confidence and trust. And when they have done that, you're willing to go and meet them. You have to do the same here. And remember, there are 3, 4 others talking to them. You can never control that, so don't even let that bother you in your head. What you have to be sure is, when I pick up the phone and talk, can I give my lead the best possible experience he can get with a broker in Dubai? That you can control. You can't control who he speaks to, but what you can control is when I speak with someone, will that buyer or that seller have the best possible selling engagement when they are with me? That's all you need to do. Once you can do that, even if he speaks with others, he will get back to you. Okay? Which means you will have to become good on 3 fronts. Your market knowledge and industry knowledge. The first thing people look at is the market performance, not the product performance, because the product is directly connected to the potential of the city. So you'll have to have knowledge to show why Dubai is one of the most amazing places to invest. 1, because of the quality of lifestyle. 2, because of what the city is. And 3, because how this product performs. For that, I have to know all my numbers, the Dubai Rest app, the reports that we've been talking about, all that data you should know. The second thing you should know is, how does that product actually perform? You have to understand the personality of the product and the personality of the developers. The personality of Emaar is not the same as the personality of an Ellington or a Damac or a Shoba. So there is a certain personality which comes into the opportunity that is being offered. You must understand that. It's very important because the communities that they build and the lifestyle they offer is based on who they are and what they believe is important for clients. And the third thing is your approach. The process that I'm going to use and the psychology of the approach. Is it left brain? Is it right brain? Is this person a front brain client, back brain client? All of that needs to come in. You want to become a real estate master? This is what you have to become. Okay, so let's look at leads and understand opportunity. Now it's on the first page of your handout. In your pipeline, there will be 5 types of clients you will be working with. 5 types. The 5 types are simply the lead that is moving in the pipeline and developing. So, to understand how much money you are going to make in your business, you have to evaluate the health of your pipeline, not the volume of your pipeline. I can have 200 people in my pipeline. I was just given some data. It doesn't tell me anything. I need to know those 200 who are in the pipeline, how many of them are a first contact today? How many of them are third contact for today? How many of them are introduction meeting, or how many of them are a viewing today? The health of your pipeline will identify the potential for closure. Okay, so I need to be able to understand, managers need to be able to understand, when I come into the office today, what's the health of my pipeline today? What are my lead-based activities for today? If I have 50 of them that are first contact, I already know that these are probably going to convert or come for a meeting maybe 4 weeks later. But I need to set them up because I'm in this business long term, right? But in my pipeline today, I might be having about 15 that are a third call attempt. They will have a higher conversion probability. I have 3 meetings that I'm going to be setting up. So the health of my pipeline and my work strategy for the day is planned based on where in the pipeline that lead is sitting. So let's go through them one by one. It's all there in the handout for you, okay? You need to understand this because this is the health of your pipeline. So at the start, you will have what we call a lead. Now, a lead is simply you have identified someone in a market based on capacity, based on their need, and certain urgency to buy. So we will create maybe a campaign. I'm going to run a campaign in, I don't know, France, or I'm going to run it in Egypt, wherever you decide, right? They will be based on what you believe is the potential. You will choose a developer or a product. You will create a campaign, put 2 or 3 USPs in there to attract that type of person that I want. So the lead generation mechanism is designed firstly to target a certain type of person. So I need to understand. So when we run a campaign in the company, okay, we're deciding to work with Shobha. We're going to run a campaign in Manchester, for example. Why Shobha and why Manchester? What are we looking to target in this particular campaign? You need to understand that first. Otherwise, you will not be able to believe in what you're getting in the lead, okay? So the lead is simply someone whom I'm going to target. Now, leads will be of 2 natures, okay? You can have inbound leads and you can have the outbound lead. The inbound lead are the warm leads coming in. These are people who are expressing some curiosity or interest. They're taking the time to fill out all those columns. There is some interest, okay? Now let's get into the mind of this lead. I already know, as a buyer in the market, the moment I put my information on any campaign, I'm exposing myself to the market. I already know that. Because if that broker who's working with me cannot convince me, he's probably going to share my details with 5 of his friends. And maybe one of them might convert me and then they will share it. So I'm taking that risk already by putting myself out there. And if people are willing to take that risk, there is some interest, okay? A few odd CV hunters will come, job hunters will come, but please don't talk about it like as if every lead you're getting is looking for a job. That is not true, okay? You give me 10 leads that you got who said they're looking for a job, we'll bring them to the table. We'll bring them to the table. What happened, and I'm going to be brutal here. I have to be, yeah? I'm on your side. A true friend will stab from front. We learn this from the others whom we come in contact with. They will sink the idea in your head that the lead generation is rubbish. And it's mainly job seekers, blue-collar workers. And you know what amazes me? Have you heard this term? Blue-collar workers? Yeah? How come everyone heard the same term? How come everyone heard the same term? Because you guys are talking to each other. You're hearing it from somebody, now you own that word. So this is what happens, okay? Okay, let's say it's a guy who's looking for a job. Give me the lead. How do you get this guy to work for you? All right, I'm looking for a job. So firstly, think about it. Every website has got a careers tab. So I'm thinking of working with this company. So I don't go to careers tab, which will probably go to a recruiter. I don't go there. I'll go and click on a campaign. And some sales guy will answer me and I'll say, boss, can you get me a job in your company? That's how we find jobs, right? That's how all of you found a job, true? No. So if none of you found it, why are you insulting people out there by saying that's what they're doing? It's an idea that's been sold to you. Okay. Even if a guy comes on that and he says, listen, I'm looking for a job. Could you help me? No problem. Come and have coffee with me. Let him come and sit with you. I said, okay, help me understand why you would be good for me in REM. Okay, here's what I want you to do. Ahmed, I'm giving you 48 hours. You talk to the guy like this. I'm giving you 48 hours. I want you to come back with 2 qualified leads. If you can bring 2 qualified leads in the next 48 hours, I will go to HR and say, hire this guy. Turn it into an opportunity. Sales is dependent on the attitude of the salesperson, not the attitude of the prospect. It's your attitude that will matter. Okay? Give me your 10 leads that told you that they want a job. I will get from them 20 qualified leads. That's as simple as that. Let him prove to me he wants the job. Okay, so first thing, understand, I got inbound leads and please respect them. The average cost of a lead, 2.1 million, not 200, 250, 300. Because if I don't respect that lead and treat him well, the guy is going to buy from somewhere else. I'm going to ask the question at the back now, Khaldun. How many times do you find out that leads that people are saying not interested have bought somewhere else? How come? How come he bought somewhere else? It is your attitude first. Okay, I want you to make money. Why I want you to make money? Respect the lead. This is a guy who's saying, I'm interested in this. Doesn't mean I want to buy it, but this is looking interesting for me. Handle me correctly, you'll probably have a deal from me. But respect me enough. Don't treat me as someone looking for a job, or don't treat me like I'm not interested. Another example, right brain clients. Right brain people love to talk. They'll just talk to anybody. You get into an elevator and you find 2 people going on all the time. They're right brain people. They don't care who's around them. They'll keep talking. They'll talk to the taxi driver. They'll talk to the Talaba delivery guy. He's got 5 orders pending. No, but spend 10 minutes with me. Engage. They just do that. And they will talk about random scattered things. So what is your conclusion? This guy is not serious. Oh, he's just having a conversation. Really? Right brain people all have these conversations. At 40% of buyers are right brained. So I'm losing 40% potential if I'm simply going to assume this guy is not interested because he's casually chatting with me. They chat first and then do business. So never ever have the wrong approach with the lead. So inbound leads, easier to talk to because you obviously have got some interest to work with. Okay, when you pick up the phone, you can clearly identify yourself from real estate masters. They will talk to you. Whether they will continue to talk to you after that depends on the quality of your approach. The outbound leads can be of 2 kinds. You can have the churn leads, old leads that are being recycled again, and there is good reason to recycle. I'll show you some numbers after the break. We need to churn the leads, and you can have data. You might have bought data. You might have got a list of all the buyers in Arabian ranches. You want to look if they are interested now in a new opportunity. You will call out. That is called an outbound lead. The difference between the two, the inbound lead, more open to taking your call. Some interest has already been established. With the outbound lead, you don't even know if they are looking to buy. They're definitely not expecting a call, but they are still in some way pre-qualified. Guys owning a villa in Arabian ranches. So there is a pre-qualification already, okay? So you will have a different approach. Now that is how the actual client enters your pipeline, as an inbound lead or an outbound lead that you will connect with, okay? Now, in my phone call, approach, Zoom, whatever it is, I have to move this lead into becoming a prospect. A prospect is where you confirm with the lead. Once you have called him, thank you for your interest shown in Tilal Al-Gaf. My name is X and I'm calling from REM. Ahmed, the reason I'm calling you today is to better understand what exactly are you looking for so I can get you the best opportunity. Would you be okay if I asked you a couple of questions? I need to pre-qualify. Okay, the pre-qualify is screening to see if he is fitting the first 3 requirements: the need, the capacity, which is the ability to pay, and the urgency. Some people see an ad, they don't read everything on it, it looks amazing, and they click. So you should never assume that the lead has fully understood what it is. Your job is to confirm it through the qualification. The second reason why you need to qualify is I could be a person who could buy, an Emirates Hills. But I saw this lead out there for a Dubai Hills villa. It looked on it, but I could have the potential for something even better. That's why you must confirm on the call before you will attempt to start speaking. This property that he saw, this launch information that he saw, becomes the hook to start the conversation. Good salespeople will open the mind of the client, show him opportunity, and if this is the only thing he's interested in, then they will work with him on that. But they will always open the mind. Okay? Recently, I worked with an agency, I won't take the name, absolutely brilliant director. The way he has coached his team, you know what they told me? We only want the number of the person and his contact details and the fact that he's interested. I'm not interested in anything else. It's my job as a broker to identify what really works for him in the market. Just give me someone who has shown some interest and give me his contact detail. Rest I'll take care of. For most of the brokers, the thinking is the other way around. No, the lead is someone who's going to say yes and jump in the car. Never happens. If that was going to happen, do I need you guys? I'll just bring artificial intelligence into the business, put a sexy sounding voice on it, and we'll close the deals. The reason we have the brokers as consultants is to take that person who has expressed an interest, work with him, confirm that or grow the interest, then give him the opportunity. Okay? So now, you need to qualify them on the same three criteria. Based on the qualification, you will get two kinds of prospects. You will get active prospects and power prospects. Now, and it's all in the handout, okay? An active prospect is qualified on all three criteria. They have the need, they have the capacity, and there is an urgency. They are thinking genuinely of some opportunity. This is something that I'm curious, but I'm actually thinking of something now. That's an active prospect. A power prospect, okay, I like this opportunity. I know it could be good for me. I have the money, but I don't really want to do it now. I'm just gathering some information. So I have to work with him differently because he has still exposed himself to the market. So I need to know this. So for example, if I'm looking at my pipeline for today, I should be able to tell myself or my manager, today I have 50 outbound calls I'm going to make. I've got 10 inbound calls that I need to be contacting. So we know who you're working with. I also have 20 people who are power prospects. I've identified them to that stage. I've got 2 who are active. I can now understand where you are going with your business today. Then I will sit with you and say, okay, let's take the 2 active prospects. What's the plan for this guy when you pick up the phone? How are you going to address it? If he does not agree with the outcome, what's your plan B outcome? What are you going to settle for? You build your strategy based on where your lead is in your pipeline. Okay? So, second is the lead has now been qualified. They've moved to the next part in the pipeline. From here, you can get one of 2 outcomes. The first one I want to talk about is called a potential. Now, a potential is a person, because I qualified him, he's got the potential, but for whatever reason, he decided not to buy from you now. You all kept speaking, you may even have a meeting, but he just decided that right now, I don't want to do it. But he is still potential. Why is he potential? There are 3 things that can happen with this person, if your attitude is correct. The first thing is, he can buy in the future. Yes, no? Build your relationship. Stay in contact with this guy. Every time there's a property monitor update, send it to him. Just say, Tariq, I remember you were interested in buying a villa in Dubai land. This month's Property Monitor has shown an amazing performance in the communities in Dubai land. I'm sending this to you just for you to be aware of what's happening in these areas. Stay visible, stay relevant with them. The Property Monitor report comes out every month. It takes 2 seconds for you to send it to a person. What normally happens is when a client has said no, the broker closes the door and latches it. We don't stay in contact. Now, do you think somebody, even later, if he's going to consider buying, will come back to you? So stay alive in their mind. Keep informing them. Learn to give before you get. It's costing you nothing, but you will be differentiating yourself from all the brokers in the market because nobody wants to talk to the guy who said no. I could have said no for 100 reasons now. Just keep educating me and you will be surprised. I might be able to talk to you. Another thing can happen. They could actually generate for you a new lead. Because you've been in touch with me, I've seen the discipline that you have. You keep educating me. In case I know someone who is considering, I am more open to suggesting the person to you because I've seen your discipline, I've seen your intent, and I've seen how you educate your buyers or potential buyers. I will give these kind of people to you. But if you have disappeared on me, there is no way I'm going to do that for you. Okay? So that is the second opportunity. That is why we treat them as potentials. And the third, they give you some very, very good market information, trends, moods. Even if he doesn't buy, he's raising the concerns that people are having in the market because investors generally are talking to each other. They move in similar circles. They read similar magazines, papers, journals. So they are actually telling you how the market is currently thinking and feeling about opportunities. Keep an open mind because what they are giving you is a very good probability that the next guys you're talking to will be saying the same thing. Come back, talk to your colleagues, talk to your managers. I had a client who asked me this today. What's the most effective way to answer it? So they're giving you the current mood in the market. No client can explain to you Sheikh Mohammed's Dubai economic agenda. They cannot talk to you about the urban plan. They cannot tell you why this city has become number 2 on the planet in terms of the economy. They don't understand that we are number 3 in the world in terms of power cities. So they don't have this information. That is why you are the person who provides it. Okay? So there's still potential for you. So either the prospect will convert into a potential, which is future business, lead generation, market trends, or they become clients. So they actually go ahead and make the investment with you. So a client also is in your pipeline. Please understand this. You work your clients to get more deals from them. You want them to be repeat buyers. You want them to give you referrals. They can also generate leads to you, okay? So they've converted into the opportunity. They have brand credibility with you. Because the fact is they have bought. Now you've got history or numbers or people that you can use as references when you talk to others. So a client, once the deal is done, he does not move out of your pipeline. He stays in the pipeline because I will keep my follow-ups with this person. I'll keep updating them about new opportunities, and there is a possibility they will buy again. Any of you had a client who bought more than once? So they will buy if they have the relationship with you. So stay in touch with them. Just like you are stopping when a person says no, you will sometimes stop when a person said yes. So don't stop. They are in your pipeline still. So I'm working with 15 clients who are in my pipeline today. I'm working with 20 potentials. I've got 2 active prospects. I've got 5 power prospects. It tells me where I am standing in terms of seeing the cash. There's no point in just telling me I've got 100 leads that I'm following up with. What stage are they in? What is the health of your pipeline? That becomes important. And then the 5th, of course, is going to be referrals. So your pipeline has got 5 different kinds of opportunity in it. Okay? Referrals are the easiest to work with because your effort ROI is very high because they'll pick up the phone. There is someone you can use as a reference point and they're at least willing to talk to you better than if you're just doing an outbound call. So the effort ROI is higher. And the reason for that is there is social familiarity. You have someone whom they know who just invested with you. So because of that, there is the credibility of the opportunity. My friends bought from you. So there must be something that you got which made sense to my friends, and the willingness to engage is there. That is the reason why the effort ROI is high. Okay? These are the 5 types of people or leads that you will have in your pipeline, and every single one needs to be managed differently. Okay? We'll just take a 10-minute stretch and come back, and I'll take you into the management strategy for the leads. Now that we understand about leads, one, what's important is my attitude. Secondly, I need to check the health of my pipeline, because my approach at every stage with a lead is based on where this client is sitting in the pipeline, whether lead, prospect, other potentials I'm dealing with. So a few things for us to keep in mind about your approach. How should I have the strategy to work with leads? I'll then show you some statistics on how leads convert, and I'll give you a sample plan on what you can use when you're working with your leads. You can start using that probably from today itself. Okay, so let's look at a little bit about lead management. What is lead management about? Do you agree with this? The larger your network, the larger your net worth? What do you think? No. No. The larger your qualified network, the larger your net worth. Okay, it's important that you are spending your time with people that you have qualified against some particular criteria. Otherwise, you could be spending a lot of time just talking to anybody. Okay, so the more qualified people that you have in your network, that's the more probable you're going to have a higher net worth. So your job with leads is to help qualify first potential, only then you bring them to the table. Okay. Second thing is the health of your pipeline, what I've been talking about. This will determine your results. How successful you're going to be is based on the health of your pipeline. You don't need big pipelines. You need qualified, active pipelines. So work on that, okay? The third point here is the effective management of the lead is dependent on 2 things. The attitude that you carry towards the lead and the approach that you will use with the lead, okay? This is very important. It's the only way you can actually handle the lead. Now, let's look at how to optimize the ROI, the returns that you can get from your leads. The first thing, super important, you have to believe in the lead generation strategy. If you don't believe that your company is generating good leads, how much effort and intent you're going to put in that call? 0. Because you don't believe in the lead generation. So what is important in any company, and this is where leadership has a role, managers have a role. I cannot just come up to you and say, we are going to run 9 campaigns in this month. We are going to do 3 campaigns in Asia, 3 in Europe. We are going to do 3 in Africa. No. What we need to share with our people is, we are planning to run 3 campaigns in Africa. The country, we are going to do a campaign in Egypt. We are going to do one in, I don't know, whichever country. And the reason we've decided to do this campaign is 1, 2, and 3. We'll partner with Shobha, we'll partner with Ellington. This is how we are planning to run it. You have to give your teams an understanding as to why this campaign is running. We don't just update people and tell what we are doing. What we are doing is 9 campaigns, hitting these countries, working with these developers. Okay, why this country? We need to explain it, because leadership has the answers. We didn't just wake up and say, open the map, close my eyes, point on a place, let's go here. There was a strategy behind it. The strategy needs to be shared. It is very important. Only if you believe in the strategy will you actually make an attempt with the lead. The second thing, respect the leads. I think we've spoken enough on this, so I'll just move ahead on this. The third thing I need to understand is I must manage my pipeline effectively. A lead means I have potential from these people to buy. He is not going to say yes today. But if I handle him well, by next month we are in an advanced stage. Huge trust has been built. We have even identified 2-3 opportunities. He's ready to come. So every day you work on your pipeline. At any point in time, you'll have people who are in meeting stage. You'll have people who are in third phone call. You'll have people who are on a Zoom stage. So there will be a higher probability of conversions every single day. Even if I have 2 meetings today, I will still make new calls for today because I will need to work with these people in the weeks to come. Keep your pipeline full. If your pipeline is not full, one problem you will have is you will get desperate for the deal. Because I'm working with very few people, clients will sense it in you. Because you need that deal, you do not even have the negotiation power because I don't have people in my pipeline who are close to conversion. So that's when I make my compromises, I'm trying to give my kickbacks, or I start making false promises to clients because I just have to close the deal. Clients are smart people. They get this and they will know how to leverage. But if you got people in your pipeline, no problem at all. It doesn't matter who this person is. You are even able to let the person go. That's perfectly fine because I've got people in my pipeline. I'll give an example of something that happened to me. I don't know if I shared it with you last year, but this happened last year. Indian investor from South Africa. He calls me up. Okay, it's usually the other one. He got a reference, obviously, from somewhere. He called me up and he said, Menon, my name is Kumar. I'd like to meet you. I want to discuss property. What would you do when a person said, I'd like to meet you? When is a good time to meet, right? Bad thing to say. When is a good time to meet means I have free time. You can pick any time you want, I'm there. Yeah. So with this person, but genuinely I was busy. I said, listen, Kumar, firstly, thank you for reaching out with me. The only more time I have free is following Sunday at 6 p.m. Would you be okay with that? Silence. No, I'd like to meet you before that. I said, I'm really sorry. I'm committed with a lot of my clients, but what I can do for you, once I understand what you're looking for, I'll introduce you to a broker who will give you exactly what you want, but I can meet you only on Sunday after 6. The guy turns around and says, I'll meet you on Sunday after 6. Because they will come to you with the attitude that I can ask and get whatever I want, whenever I want. Why? Because 90% of the brokers in the market have given them that belief. Then I said something else to him. I said, Kumar, before we meet, I'm sending you a link to my Instagram page. It's really important that you understand who I am and whether I am the right person to advise you. Have a look at my Instagram and then decide if you want to meet with me. Nobody will leave you like that because I know if anybody goes to my Instagram, there is no way they will not meet with me because I've invested in my Instagram. It's knowledge, it's information, it's market trends, it's selling skills, it's podcasts, ambassador for the city of Dubai. Who will not meet with you? So what I'm actually doing is locking him to me by making him go to something that tells him who I am first. Now, what's the fun? Saturday afternoon, I get a WhatsApp. We are meeting tomorrow, right? I can show you the WhatsApp. Client WhatsApping you. What normally happens in our meeting? We are following up with them, right? Just to remind you that tomorrow we're meeting at 6. No, the guy is sending it to me. We are meeting tomorrow at 6, right? That's what happens. 20 units resale, Damac Lagoons. That's what happens. Okay. So when your pipeline is full, when you're busy, you have negotiation power. You have that leverage. So always keep your pipeline full, but manage your pipeline. Leads take time to convert because they have to go through those stages. It's like a farmer who gets a seed. He goes and plants the seed in the field and he goes back the next day and says, where is my apples? It doesn't grow like that. There is a certain time that is required, okay? Once I put the seed in the ground, I've got to first believe in the power of that seed. If I don't believe the seed is going to give me something, you think I'll wake up every morning in the hot burning sun and go out and take care of it? But I believe in it, so what I will do, I will fertilize the ground. I will water it. I will provide it with the information, give it all the answers, So the seed is going to grow. Now there might be some weeds growing on the top. I need to pull those weeds off so that this can grow. What are the weeds? Our clients are hearing stories out there. They're sitting with a friend at Shisha and listening to some crap about Dubai. They're hearing that it's going to be a bubble. This is all going to happen. People are now going to Ras Al Khaimah, not Dubai. So there are a lot of things that will come into their head. Those weeds are going to not allow that plant to grow. Your responsibility is that as you are working with the lead, you clear off all these weeds and give them the right answers. Give them the reason to come and see you. And they will come to you. So you have to manage it effectively, and I'll give you a structure on how to manage. The fourth thing, very important, whatever be your lead management strategy, you have to apply it consistently. When you apply it consistently, two things will happen. The first, it will become unconscious pattern within you. Anything that is unconscious pattern grows in confidence. It will come out very authoritatively because you have done it so many times, you don't have to think about what are your next steps. And people buy from you because of your belief, your conviction, okay? That's really important for you to do. Now, how do you manage your leads? Okay, forget the guy there. I want you to, it's on the next page that you have. It should be on page 2. Page 2, at the bottom, okay? You need some numbers. I remember sharing this last year, but maybe some of you have forgotten it, so let's go through it again very quickly. Let's understand how salespeople will give up on a lead. That is, they will stop following up on the lead. Now, 48% of any sales team will make first contact with the lead. The lead was assigned to them, they will make first contact. Now, when I mean first contact, an actual contact, you're speaking, not you call them, they don't answer. That is not contact. So the 48% after the first speaking will give up on the lead. Okay, and you'll understand this when I go to the next slide. Okay, but that means half this room will make the first call. They will speak to the client. The problem, they're trying to get the meeting, not trying to grow serious intent. So client will say, just send me WhatsApp. So what they will say, client not serious. So they will not make a second attempt with a person. That's 48% of the team. 29% will stop after the second attempt. Some of them will get back to the client once more, try again, but the client does not come. So they will stop. So that's 77% of the team done. Approximately 80% of the team is gone in the second contact. Now I want to ask you from your experience, usually after how many contacts, calls, do people actually come? 3 to 5. I heard 5. I heard many attempts, right? So we already know from our experience that it does take quite a few attempts before they come. Remember, he's just curious. He's also talking to others in the market. You may not be coming across as the most effective broker to work with. So there's few things going on. So you already know from experience, it's taking a few contacts before the person comes. Why will you stop after the first and second? So you have to stick with it, believing that this person will come. But you got to know what you're talking. That's also a fact, okay? Now, 13% will give up after the third contact. That's 90% of the team done. Now, I just heard answers here that people will start converting after the third call, third to the fifth call. By the time 90% of the team have stopped. So they don't see the conversion. So then what do you say? Leads are rubbish. They were not interested. They were just wasting my time. But the reality is, you all are telling me yourselves, it takes 3 to 5 attempts. Only 10% of sales teams, only 10% will stick it through attempts 4 and 5. They will still contact the client. What is important is, what do you say on the fourth call? Or the fifth call? The guy has already said no to you 3 times. Or he's making excuses, right? So what the hell do you say on the fourth call? So you cannot have the same approach on each attempt. You have to have something different. And I'll give you how to create those attempts. Okay, I'll give you a strategy to do that. But you cannot have the same attempt. I wasn't convinced the first time. You're not convincing me the second time if you use it. Maybe I feel more comfortable with you, but I'm still not convinced with it. So you'll have to change the approach. Okay? Now this is how salespeople are giving up on the contact. Now let's see how the lead actually converts. Okay? Now, only 2% of the leads, only 2% will convert on first contact. Only 2%. Do you know what that means? It means that the first attempt is a 98% failure potential. Let this number sink into your head. Only 2% of people would be willing to engage with you after the first contact. 98% not yet. Okay, so they're talking to you, but they're not ready to come. They won't convert, okay, into the meeting. So it's a 98% failure attempt. Now, 3% will convert after the second attempt. That means you're down to a 95% failure. 5% will convert on the third attempt. Okay? That is a 90% failure. But if we see the previous statistics, if you look at the top of the page, 90% of the salespeople give up at this point. But think, because I made 3 attempts, I spoke 3 times, but he has not agreed yet to come, in my mind, nothing has happened. But what has actually happened is you've dropped him from a 98% failure potential to 90%. Something has changed. You need to have the discipline to be able to stick with this guy. Now, you'll only stick with them if you respect them enough and if you love what you do. I've had clients who told me, what the hell is wrong with you, Anand? You've already called me 4 times. Why are you still calling me? And I tell them, David, you're right. I called you 4 times. Every time you said no to me and I heard the no. Why do you think I'm still calling you? What do you mean? You go to some other place with it. So you have to have your own counter. You have to be different with them, okay? Now, 10% will convert on the 4th attempt. So we're talking down now to an 80%. So you realize what is happening? Every 4th call person in your pipeline, every 4th call person in your pipeline has now dropped to 80% failure. They are different. So when I, as a manager or as a broker, look at my pipeline and I have got 30 first contacts today, I know those 30 are 98% failure potential. But I know those 30, if I will work with them on a second and a third contact, I'm dropping them to 90%. I'm changing how they think. Okay? That we will look at in the approach, but they are dropping. Now, here's the kicker. 80% will convert between contacts 5 to 12. Contacts 5 to 12, you will have an 80% success rate. Convert as in agree to a meeting, okay, with you. 80%. So I want to ask you a question. Who do you want to work with? Do you want to work with a 98% failure or an 80% conversion? Who do you want to work with? 80%? How many of you want to work with 80%? You guys don't look so convinced. 80%, right? So if you want to work with an 80% conversion potential, why are you stopping after first call and second call? Because if you're the kind of broker who will make 1 attempt and stop, you will need a new lead. Agreed? But you will make only 1 call with a new lead. Agreed? So you will only work with a 98% failure potential across all leads that are generated to you. Because you're not ready to make the second or the third. So after you've made about 50 phone calls, each time to a new person, what will you tell people? Leads are rubbish. This is hard. I just asked Khaldun, right? People who have been put as deal lost in the system are buying somewhere else. So don't stop. That's very important, okay? Stick with the person. If you believe the opportunity is there, people will come back to you later. You just have to open them up. What is important is in every contact, I have to give the client something that makes him feel the call had value. That's what the client has to remember when he gets off the call. I learned something that I didn't know. They shared something with me which I wasn't even thinking about. That was a good report which they just sent me on WhatsApp. I did not know about the D33. Now I understand why real estate is doing well. They are changing in their perception about you, and they are moving into conversion. Learn to give before you get. That is very important, okay? You lose a lot of business. I call it the sales graveyard. We have a sales graveyard. Leads are sitting in there because people stopped after one contact or two contacts. That is the reason why leadership in companies recognize when they look at a CRM system and they see only one attempt was made or two attempts, we shuffle the lead and give it to somebody else. Now, look at what happens to the client. When I shuffle the lead and give it to somebody, if they are the one call kind of people, what is the story on the floor? Oh, these are recycled leads. And that is told by people who don't believe in it. So they'll tell you, this guy, I spoke to him before he wasn't interested. So in my head, I've been given a lead that's not interested. Management is just trying their luck. No, management understands this guy has been contacted only once or twice. So someone else reaches out to him. There's a third contact coming from REM. Maybe this guy will talk to this person better. So we shuffle the leads because we believe that the leads take some contacts before they will convert. We got better things to do than just pass the junk leads from one person to another. If it is junk, why would I give you the junk? Because I know I'm destroying you. I'm giving it because this lead has potential, qualified in our campaign. The guy who was assigned to it did not do enough. I'm giving you the chance now. If your attitude is correct about that lead, the client will sense it. And then you will be able to work with them. That is why we do the shuffling of leads. Okay? It's a 2.1 million opportunity sitting there. Just because a broker doesn't believe in putting effort into it, do we flush it down the toilet? It wouldn't make any sense at all. That is why I'm telling you, give me 10 of your leads who said they're looking for jobs. I will bring from that someone to the table. You have to change your attitude about the leads here. Okay. So what do we do now in our lead management approach? Okay, I'm putting the same numbers I gave you. If you want to just draw it, look at what is happening here, the dynamics. So this is how the salesperson gives up, right? Most of the team is giving up on the first contact and second contact. So by the time you've made 4 attempts, there's very few salespeople left in the game. But look at how the leads are converting. Opposite. So this means when very few leads are ready to convert, most of the team has given up. And when leads are opening out, there's only these 10% of the guys who are in the game. They understand how to work with leads, and they will get the bigger closure on the deals. It's always going to be about attitude that you have. How many of you have got girlfriends, boyfriends? It's okay, raise your hand. They're not going to fire you. HR, I'll cover this side. You can raise your hands now. No? Okay. So you have an argument with your significant other person. You make one attempt, they're upset, they don't take the call. What do you say? Screw you, I'm not going to talk to you again. That's what we do, right? That's what we do, true? No, you'll call again, right? Why? Why would you call again?
Because they love first.
Because the person matters to me. The person is important. So I will claim that if the leads are important for you, you will call them. People will sense that in you because your attitude when you call them is different. Change your thinking and you will change your results. That's a good point. So it's about the rejection, right? Firstly, they're not rejecting you. They don't even know who the hell you are. They don't know who you are. You made a call. No, I'm not in. Firstly, remember, that is an outbound call. You might get, no, I'm not interested right now. There is a way to work with them. Inbound leads will at least talk to you. But when they are rejecting, they're not rejecting you. They're rejecting that particular opportunity that you are offering to them. They don't even know who you are. Why would they reject you? They don't reject you. They reject the opportunity.
One time, I showed my interest in investing in SALIC, and it was the first time actually I registered online. And then the guy, he called me. So now I'm remembering everything you said. I didn't feel confidence when he was talking to me. He wasn't giving me numbers exactly. He said just, you could earn a lot of money. What is a lot of money? I'm not understanding anything. I'm new in the market. I don't know. He's not explaining good. He was talking too fast. I didn't feel confident that he's not believing in what he's telling me. So I just closed the phone. He called 5 times. I blocked him.
So this is a person who had an interest in something, but the person who connected with them couldn't convert the interest. So the lead is shit.
I blocked him. I blocked him.
The lead is crap. See, they blocked me. Oh, hang on a second. Do you wonder why they blocked you? Okay, it's always...
Consider the WhatsApp message
Sorry?
as an approach. WhatsApp message. Would
Yeah.
you consider it as an approach?
WhatsApp messages are contacts. I consider it as a contact if the client can see that there is some value attached to the message. So just the WhatsApps don't work. We can use WhatsApps to put pressure. For example, you call a person, they don't answer. 2 minutes later, WhatsApp has gone. And immediately they put the phone down, they'll hear one ting, they know this is from who. They don't even have to open the phone, they know it's you. Hi, I tried calling you, but you didn't answer. I wanted to know when is a good time to call. People don't like that. People don't like that. You are showing desperation. Make a call, the person did not answer. Give him 3-4 hours. Give him some time. He could be genuinely busy. But the moment you come back at me at that moment, I don't like it. I feel you're desperate and you're putting pressure on me. I'll avoid you even more. Give him some time to heal. Try a second time. He doesn't pick up. Give him some time. The guy's not going to die tonight. Give him some time. And then, I don't know, he's just had a fight with his wife. He's in a really, really bad mood. Last thing he wants to do is take a call from a broker. Let him get into a different headspace. Your attitude is important, not the attitude of the lead. Okay? Really important. Okay. There was one company here. I don't want to take the name of the company. Okay. Like this, big group, about 75 people in the room. The owner is standing in the front of on the Monday morning meeting and he said, guys, what do you want me to do for you? Tell me how I can help you. Senior broker raises the hand. Senior hasn't been there for a few months. Yeah? Not because of conversion. There for a few months, raises her hand and says, we need better leads. That owner had a nuclear explosion between his ears. Okay, not the best reaction. We need the emotional intel, but the owner got upset and he has a right to be upset. So I said, okay, can I just talk to this team? I came up there and I said, okay, you said that the leads are not good. What do you mean by that? Are they a waste of time? I said, why don't you say it honestly? The leads are shit. True? Don't be nice about it. Tell me the leads are shit. So a few heads nodded. Okay, leads are shit. I said, do you know in the US, when you take shit and you treat it differently, it's $1.3 billion a year. Take the shit, handle it differently, it's worth 1.3 billion. Did you know that? Now, the word leads. Look at it different is deals. Approach it different. But that answer doesn't convince people. Okay, it's a good way to come back, but it doesn't. I said, okay, you said the leads are shit. This man is spending, and I'm not exaggerating, 700,000 dirhams a month on lead generation. It's a big company. They've been here for 16 years. This man is spending 700,000 dirhams a month almost 9 million a year on lead generation. And they've been doing this for the last 16 years. And they couldn't figure out the leads are shit. You showed up, and in 2 months you figured out the leads are shit. You think leadership are idiots running the campaigns, creating the leads, whatever, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. They haven't figured out the leads are shit, but you figured it out. You're smarter than the leaders. Maybe we should just change all the leaders in the business and put these guys in. Change your attitude. You will change how you handle these leads. Okay? Now, let's understand quickly how to manage your leads. So I'm giving you a sample structure. You don't have to use only this structure, but this is typically how a lead has to be managed. It is there in your handout. So here's an example. I've been given a lead. Okay? The first contact I'm going to make to the lead is always going to be a phone call. Okay, this is a lead. I'm talking of an inbound lead, right? Now, when I call, what should I do? Don't just pick up the phone. You should have a game plan on how you plan to speak. Because I'm going to use a call approach where I will take him from curiosity to serious interest. That is my approach. So I must have a structure for that. What do I say to move him to serious interest? Only then I have possibility of the meeting. So I will use an identified script or structure and then make the call. I must already know before I make the call, what's my plan A outcome? I want the meeting. What's my plan B? What am I willing to settle for if I cannot get plan A? Don't get into a call without having what you really want as an outcome. Because when you're not getting the normal outcome you want, most people don't know what to say on the call. So you should be able to go to your plan B. Okay? Now, let's say he does not agree. But my plan B would be, I understand. Many of my investors are usually busy. It's a bit hard for them to actually make time out for me. However, all of them were interested in knowing what is happening in the market at this point in time since they're interested. Would you be okay if I did a follow-up with you, say, every 3 to 4 days, send you some information so you better understand the market before you make any decision? Would you be okay with that? Nobody will tell you no to that. So now I have set myself up for second contact. I have actually given myself the opportunity for the second contact. So what can I do as a second contact with this person? I'm saying use a WhatsApp. Now, when I'm sending the WhatsApp, there must be a takeaway or a giveaway for the client. I spoke with him. His inquiry was about Tilal Al Ghaf, for example. So a Dubai land community, little upscale, is what he's looking for. Simply go to Property Monitor, pull out how Tilal Al Ghaf has performed for the last 18 months. It's all there. Simply take it with a nice PDF. You can actually get it with your company logo as well on it, right? Send it to him with a voice note and his name. I'd say, Ahmed, I'm sending you something which will be of interest to you. Since you were looking at Tilal Al Ghaf, I did some research on your behalf. We have done zero research. It's there on Property Monitor. You can just pull it down. But you'll just say, I did some research for you on Tilal Al Ghaf and Dubai land communities. I'm sending you this document to show you how communities in Dubai land have been appreciating in value for the last 18 months. You'll end the voice note by saying, I'll give you a call in a couple of days just to discuss or just to see if you have any questions about the report. Don't say, I'll give you a call in a couple of days to see if you're interested in an opportunity. Then he will see this as a selling pitch. You're using a trick here. Don't do that. Show him, we've had a conversation. You've shown interest in Dubai land communities, particularly Tilal Al Ghaf. So I've done some research. This is how the community has performed for the last 18 months. I'm sending this for you. It's good for you to know this before you make a decision with anyone. Now, I'll give you a call in a couple of days just to see if you got any questions about the report. So I'm setting my third one up. Now, when I do call the third time, I will be going for a meeting. That's my plan, right? But I've told him I'll call you in a couple of days. Keep it vague. Don't say, I'll call you tomorrow morning. Okay, I'll call you in a couple of days just to see if you have any questions about the report. So I'm showing that I'm going to call to answer any questions you have. It's not about a property. Keep them in a zero pressure situation. They are more likely. Plus, when you send the report, most of them will not even read it. But just the fact that you sent it, they appreciate it. Someone has done some work for me, done research for me, and sent me a report. Most brokers will not do this. So how do you stand out? Most brokers will keep picking up the phone, keep calling. You are sending something that makes sense to him. Okay, that's all you do. So set the tone for your next meeting. Now, either you could follow up with a third call, or you could even do something different. Maybe I'll send him a little video, another takeaway. What you can do is, if you are at a sales center, all of you go to sales centers, right? You go with clients, sometimes you go a little early, you're there, you're going for briefings, meetings. Anytime you go, there is a launch happening, just take a quick video, few seconds, make sure you're in the video, all right? Just a little video, quick thing, I'm at the Lalagaf, or I'm at the Imar Sales Center. This place is buzzing, the number of investors, Dubai is excited about the new launch, but you must be in it. Why? If you're not in it, you could be taking some other broker's information and video and sending to them. They need to see you are active, you are relevant, and you are anyway going to these sales centers. It takes 10 seconds to make this video. Never come away. Make this a golden rule. You will never leave a sales center starting today without a video being taken. But you must be in the video. So the moment you do this, how often do you visit sales centers in a week? 2 to 3 times? Okay, on an average 2 to 3 times? You could be going to meet a client, or you could be just going for a product briefing, right? You will go 2 to 3 times. Do you know in 1 month, you will make 12 videos like that? And all those 12 videos are going to be posted on your Instagrams. You have information to keep sending your clients. Imagine every week you're sending a little video. I'm at this launch. I'm at this. It makes a big difference. People will see you as active and relevant. Okay? So in this case, I'm saying third contact, another WhatsApp message, but put into it a short video and make an offer. Say, the reason I called you, Ahmed, last week was for this kind of an opportunity. And show him the people that is there, the launches. So this was why I had called you last week, to introduce this opportunity. Now, I have a similar launch coming in the next 10 days. When can we meet? Make an offer. So at least you're not just calling and following up. You're sending WhatsApps, which is easier for them to open. There's no pressure, but you are putting voice notes and data or reports. You're sending videos of what's happening. You're linking the video to the reason you called in the first place. So you will give people a reason to want to talk to you, because you are a different broker. Your approach is different. You're just managing the lead differently. You're managing his mind. The fourth attempt could be again a phone call. Again, you have a script that you will use, reference the takeaway and the video. So what would I do? 2 days later, 3 days later, I call up Ahmed again, and Ahmed will probably take my call because I've done a few things to make him feel good about me. So I'll simply say, Ahmed, how are things with you today? Never say how are you on the first call. Later on, after 2-3 contacts, you can say how are you, all right? Or how are things today? That's even better than how are you, right? So how are things today? Listen, Ahmed, I sent you a report on Dubai land a few days ago. Did you have a chance to look at it? Don't start with property. Did you have a chance to look at it? 9 out of 10 will say, you know what? I didn't get a chance to look at it. I said, I understand. That's exactly why I'm calling you, so I could discuss that report with you and see what your thoughts are on that opportunity. So reference that and get into your call. Reference the video and get into the call, and then you can make an offer. So different attempts, ways of doing it. Okay, sorry, where was I? Okay, so fifth, again, make another attempt. Put a giveaway information with them. Launch, okay? Launch has happened. Unit sellout. Immediately on social media, you'll see posts coming up, right? You'll see the post saying, everything sold out, or 900. Recently when Damak did the, Lagoon Views. Yeah? Within 4 hours, there were social media posts. We said 900 units gone, 1.9 billion. Why would you not use that with your prospects? Bengati, 8.8 million, and all the 2 bedrooms went. So now, if I have been talking to somebody about coming for such a launch and they have not come, launch sold out, send it to him. So Ahmed, this was the reason why I had suggested Lagoon Views. 900 investors have grabbed the opportunity and they've invested this. Now, the reason I'm calling you today is there is a similar opportunity coming up next week. When can we meet? Just manage them in the process. So have a different approach. That's all you have to do with your leads. Show them why you're different and it'll work. Now, I'll come to you. I'll just finish this one last point and then you. Now, what do you do even after all of this they decide not to go? Put their name for 3 months later in your system. 3 months will come very fast. How fast did the last 3 months go? The next 3 is going to go the same way, right? So all I will do 3 months later, boom, his reminder will show up for me, depending on whatever you're using, right? Before I call him, what were we discussing? Lagoon Views 3 months ago. Get onto Property Monitor or contact your sales guy there. What is the price now at Lagoon Views? It would have definitely gone up. Screenshot that and then send it to him 3 months later. Ahmed, you remember we were speaking about Damak Lagoons? Lagoon Views? The reason I'm calling you today is to tell you that prices increased 12% in just 3 months. Had you come and invested that 1.3 million, you would have already made 160,000 in just 3 months. Now, the reason I'm contacting you today is something similar has just been announced. When can we meet? Now you have the proof of what has happened when you go back to him. You never give up on your leads, okay? It just takes a few seconds to send these messages. And you can never convince me you guys are so busy all day. You are doing maximum 3 hours a day work. Sometimes even lesser. Maximum. You spend more time on coffee, lunch and cigarettes than at work. This is the reality. But with coffee, lunch and cigarettes, you lose money. You don't make money. Have your lunch. I don't have anything against it. But guys, focus on your leads. These are people who are buying. Remember, those leads have contacted 4 or 5 others. While you are busy on your cigarettes and coffee, others are calling them. And that's how you lose the business. Okay? Any questions from?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry, your question.
What's the best time to call the clients during the day?
Okay.
Sometimes we confuse their lunch, they have work, maybe at night, maybe in the weekends, but in general, from experience.
Okay, from my experience, don't call before 11 o'clock in the morning. And there's 2 reasons for this, okay? Most of these guys, if they are business owners, senior executives, they finish their most critical meetings in the morning. They organize their entire day in the first 2 hours. The most important meetings are done at that time. They don't like to be organizing all through. They'll finish the key activities in the morning. So it's always better for you to call later. If you are talking to people who might be visitors into Dubai, they have come and you want to speak to them, these guys are having late nights. Dubai is the kind of city you will not sleep early. They'll get up late, they'll go for breakfast and all of that. So don't call them early. After 11 o'clock works well if they are in the city. The second time that works well is after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. After 3 o'clock in the afternoon is when it works well. You can call in the evenings. You can call even between 7 and 8:30, not later than that. 7 and 8:30. People who are busy are more relaxed in the evening. They don't mind a good phone call if they could evaluate something of value. If you are rubbish in what you say, of course you'll irritate me. But they are okay with calls. Sometimes they may say, but why are you calling me in the evening? So I would simply say, I understand. Okay? Most of my clients I work with, investors like you, always preferred a call in the evening because they had the time to really understand and speak about the opportunities. That's why I'm calling you. Okay? It works. Overseas, you have to check the time and call. That's okay?
Sorry, Dr. Anand. I want to ask about this voice note.
Voice note.
Yeah. Seriously, this one is make me like just for me personally, I'm not a person that I like to send voice message. So I would love to understand more from your side that what the new side, like is that what makes the difference?
What is the difference when you use a voice note? Okay, I get it.
Why is more better?
Why is a voice note better? Okay, let me give you an example. What do I use here? Okay, the word O. The word O, O-H, okay, means nothing by itself. Agreed? Now I want all of you as a team. We'll do this as a whole floor. Okay? No, I want to just hear. What? Okay. I want to hear you say the word O to suggest surprise.
So you can express when you talk.
Okay, so good. Surprise, okay? Now, I want you to say the same word O to suggest disgust. Okay. I'm not sure whether that's disgust, but it's okay, fine. Now, I want you to say the word O to suggest I understand. Oh, okay. Now, I want you to say that word O to suggest I don't understand. Now, how is it possible the same word with a different tone can have a completely opposite meaning? But the word is O. So if I simply type and send a message to you, what meaning will they attach to it? The tone in the voice will give it a much more powerful meaning or intent. Now let's try one more. Say the word O to suggest affection. Clearly you guys are not good in your relationships, yeah? Okay, so the point I'm trying to make here is when I simply type a message, what meaning will they attach to it? How will they identify urgency, intent? All of these come from the tonality in the voice. If I had to stand here and just speak to you like this for the last 1 hour and explain some concepts about lead management, and I give you some very good ways of doing it, how would it feel? But if I had to stand here for 1 hour and I give you concepts on lead management and I give you techniques that will actually work, different? But exactly the same words. Exactly the same words. So you lose that opportunity of creating impact. Secondly, when you have relationships with people, you speak to them. But if he's not answering your call, you do the second thing, which is a voice note. Third reason why voice notes work. If I have to type a response, it might go into a full long paragraph. If clients who are impatient, with asking you short, straight questions, will never read a long paragraph. It switches them off. I have to read all of that to get to understand? No. Voice note shows us one line. And in 15 seconds on a voice note, you can say a whole lot more than typing 2 paragraphs. I'm saying in 15 seconds you can say it. You can have a 1-minute voice note as long as what you're saying is making sense. That's all I'm saying. But you can definitely say a lot more and you can do it with more influence when you use the voice note.
When you get outbound leads, there's several ways to call them outbound, right? But let's say I get a number, okay, I get data, and I want to call someone who never registered or something. So how do you do the approach? You don't know anything about it. Sometimes maybe you don't get any. But let's say this is the number. How can you approach to get the interest?
Okay. If you don't get the name, it's a bit of a challenge that you have. All right? Okay. So let's look at both approaches. If I have a name, always go casual, go friendly, don't go formal. Formal, nobody likes today. Nobody even uses formal anymore. Even the millionaires of the world, social media has destroyed language and approach. Okay, so what do we tend to do? We go, hi. How do you talk to your friends? Yeah, okay. Certain cultures, you may not be able to do this. So culture will influence it. That is entirely up to you. But if you are going to make your introduction sound like a typical sales guy, you have already got me to get my defenses up. So you should not sound like a sales guy. That's all I'm saying. So Use a casual approach, it works better. People, when they're relaxed, actually make better calls. By the way, do you do power hours here? A power hour? Try it. Actually, try today. Try today. A power hour is 1 hour and it is always between 2 and 3 p.m. on a Friday. Why?
After prayer, everyone finished prayer.
Thank you very much. Two things will happen. Usually on Friday afternoon, the mentality of people here is they're more relaxed. They're not heavy into business. So they are more easy to talk to during that time. Those who go for prayer, when they come out, will not want to be rude with you after that.
They right inside. I just prayed and now I'm talking like this.
So what happens is, they actually take your call, and even if they don't want to talk to you, they are nice with how they tell you no. When people are nice with how they tell you no, their mind is still open. You have a chance of getting in. But when people are angry, the mind is closing fast. You're trying to get into a room where the door is closed.
So you're saying that Fridays can be a great day to do these outbound calls?
Absolutely. Between 2 and 3, because it is just after the prayer. Try it today. And I don't know if I can say this, I'll say it. All right. Recently with one agency, we put a 500 dirham incentive on the table. The person who makes the maximum number of calls in that 1 hour gets the maximum number of listings, whether pocket or an agreement to list, or they're getting a meeting assigned. The one who does it the best gets the 500. We did it in an agency recently. Okay? 900 calls were made in 1 hour. 76 pocket listings, 5 agreements to a meeting, all in 1 hour. And that cost the company 500 dirhams. Power hour. Try today. Maybe the last part I should not have said, but you're here on a Friday. Now they will come on the Fridays after the prayer.
Come on Friday. Make them come on Friday.
Okay.
So as he didn't show any interest, okay, like the number, just go and summon, right? So you can follow the rule like I, this is Shari, so the reason I'm calling you is that I got an amazing opportunity and I'd love to share it with you. Like, is this the right approach?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Like, where did you get my number from?
No, that's the first thing they'll say. Okay, that's the second thing. First, your introduction is fine. That's perfectly okay. The reason I'm contacting you is I've been working with a lot of investors, people similar to you, and they've all been showing interest in this amazing opportunity that showed up. That's why I called you. Now, they might tell you, well, I'm not interested. Right? I'll say, Ahmed, that's exactly why I called you. Instant reverse.
This is what I actually said. That's exactly why I'm calling you. The same way you told me that I said I'm not interested.
Okay?
And then I tried another way that, you know, I do understand, I know how you feel about it, but how come anyone can be interested about things that doesn't have the whole information?
How come they're not interested in what? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so you're using feel, felt, found, which is the second step. All right. Yeah, this is the second. The first thing what happens is, when they say I'm not interested, most of them who are really not interested will disconnect. They will not even tell you I'm not interested. They'll just disconnect. Okay, but if they're telling you, well, I'm not interested, and they're still holding, they're giving you a small window there. It's called a linger. I have to be able to get in there. So I get in fast. Because when they tell you I'm not interested, they'll usually say it fast. They want to brush you off, okay? Now, the techniques for brush-offs will work 7 out of 10 times. That's it. But if 7 out of 10 people who said I'm not interested are going to speak with you, you have an opportunity. Right? So I'll just take the name of the client and say, that's exactly why I'm calling you. But you have to match the tone of the person. Client says, well, I'm not interested. I'll say, Ahmed, that's exactly why I'm calling you. Well, I'm not interested. Well, that's exactly why I'm calling you. You have to mirror and match. What do you mean? 7 out of 10 will tell you what do you mean. Then you will lower your tone. Because when they say what do you mean, the tone drops. Because they didn't expect that. What do you mean? Sorry? Excuse me? That will come. Then I'll say, Ahmed, I know how you feel. Some of my best investors like you, initially felt the same. Here's what they discovered. And then end with a did you know? Closing the deal, yes, is about creating urgency. Third party story is one thing that will help you. That is not third party. That is just history. Okay, I think if you want to, that's okay. You're using performance trend and you're showing what it was before and how much it is now. That makes sense, but it still may not create urgency in me. Yeah, okay. So don't use push tactics, use pull tactics. Okay, a push tactic is where you're making the people do it. A pull tactic is getting people involved. And one of the best ways to do this is by asking relevant questions. So when, for example, it depends on what the client is saying to you at that moment. So you want to ask a question based on that. So for example, the client, let's take a stage. You want to talk to him and show him an opportunity in Dubai. Start by saying, Ahmed, the attractiveness of this investment is directly connected to the attractiveness of Dubai as a city. How familiar are you with Sheikh Mohammed's agenda, economic agenda D33? When you ask, most of them will say, what are you talking about? What do you mean?
I'm on stand. I want to get a meeting.
On the stand.
On stand. And I want to talk to someone who's present. And I want to get the meeting right now. So if we go for a long conversation, Khalas, I'll call you back.
You're on a stand, you said, right?
Yeah.
You're on a stand.
Yes.
If you got eye contact and a person has stopped, they will easily give you 2 minutes.
Okay, but how can you do the urgency to the client about the project itself? They can say something.
Go third party, say, did you know that over 70% of the international investors who bought into these opportunities were people we met in hotel lobbies, people like you. Okay, use some number, use fact, don't just keep bullshitting, okay? Yeah, so use did you know, because whatever you say after did you know is accepted as fact. Okay, another way you can do it is point to the fact that you have a desk there. You're using a stand there, right? So would you agree that we would put a stand here where we would find the opportunity to help investors? Otherwise, why would we have a stand here? We're having it here because people like you, we are able to approach them, take them and show them the opportunity. When they understand the value, they're able to make decisions. That's why I have a stand here. Okay, I would have put my stand somewhere else, right? Show them why you got the stand in that place.
Would you coin a better term to use as per experience, which is maybe more effective than I have an opportunity for you that you'll be interested in, so you don't sound more like a pyramid scheme phone call? Would there be a better term, maybe something more modern nowadays that you can say?
Okay.
It's not vegetative.
All right. People don't assume it's a pyramid scheme because you said the word opportunity. If they may be a bit guys, they say, what opportunity is this? When you start explaining it, that's when they begin to see whether it's a pyramid scheme or not. But if you don't want to use the word opportunity, simply go third party, okay? The reason why I'm calling you is something amazing just showed up in Dubai. And a lot of investors, people like you, have expressed an interest in it. That's why I'm calling you.
What if they will answer yes,
Sorry? Send me a WhatsApp. So that's a brush off because you have not even explained, correct? So if the client says, send me a WhatsApp, I'll say, certainly. Or I'll go the other way around. That's exactly what I'm planning to do. Now, you're not planning to send the WhatsApp, right? So you'll change the tone. You have called to speak. He doesn't want to speak, so he's saying, send me WhatsApp. So I'll say, that's exactly what I was planning to do. But I only wanted to send you what was important, not this big document. But to do that, I just needed a few answers. That's why I called you. So may I quickly ask you for that, and then I'll send you the WhatsApp. So what they feel is, okay, let me give her these answers. She's going to get off and send me WhatsApp. The reality is, when you start talking to them, they will stay in the call because they have time to speak. That's why they took the call in the first place. But when they realize you're a salesperson, send me WhatsApp.
Doctor, if I may, because it's almost fair time and I think let's not focus on what to say exactly and please do help me on this. It's not a sentence that you have to say that. Don't seek for sentences. One thing, George, are you okay with doing outbound calls? Yes or no?
No, I don't want.
You're okay.
Yeah.
You know what you're missing? It's not the sentence, it's the practice. The more you do, the more you will get familiar with what picks up the client. It's not 1, 2, 3. But these things are never 1, 2, 3. It's not black and white. Each client has a different approach. The more experienced you become, the more comfortable you will be, the more you will know how to read what the client wants, which terminology you should use. And I remember we asked last time, Dr. Anand, should we say Mr. or should we call by name? And I wanted to raise this question to you. Did you practice this? What did you find out? Is calling him Mr. or Sir some better, or calling him by name is better? I bet 80% wouldn't have an answer. Very few. Why? Because no practice. What you need to start is practicing, is doing the call. And you're asking for the second step, but you're not doing the first step. The more calls you do, the more comfortable you will become with yourself. It will be spontaneous. Immediately, from the tone of voice, from the person on the other line, you will know whether to say sir or not. Immediately. So that is just one thing I wanted to highlight. It's the practice that you're practicing. He will teach you the big picture of how to do things, of what is important. But if you don't practice, you will not teach what he's teaching. Very simple.
It is with everything, okay? Practice makes?
Confidence.
Practice makes? Perfect. No. Practice makes permanent. Because you could practice the wrong thing, right? So you become very good at doing the wrong thing. Practice makes permanent. You need unconscious pattern. Because in unconscious pattern is my confidence and my own selling personality. When you speak now, language, the words come out naturally, right? But think of the first time you were being taught the language. You struggled with it, right? You were trying to figure out what do I say? How do I actually form the sentence? But today you speak without thinking. Why? You just used it so often, it's gone onto the inside. I'll give you another advice on the practice. So what Khaldun said is right. When you practice anything that you learn, go for quantity, not quality. It's the opposite of what people have probably told you. Go for doing it more rather than doing it right. Because when it's new behavior, it is going to face resistance from your past behavior. Correct? So I try to do something that is new. How many of you drive? Quite a few, yeah? Those of you who don't drive, listen to us. The first time you drove was perfect? You drove well, or you were struggling? But today you didn't even think when you drove to work. All right, so what happens if I'm trying to do it correct and it doesn't work? We will say this does not work, we stop. But if I just keep doing it, automatically the quality will improve. So when I go for quality, I will reduce my quantity. When I go for quantity, I will improve the quality. So you really want to learn the skill, apply it, but go for quantity.
I have a question.
Last one, yeah?
Okay, I had one client. I was a student then, and he was interested in the McLaren. He told me, hello, how are you? You seem to be good. What you sell here? I told him, we have properties. We are brokerage company, and this project is for the McLaren. And I started explaining about the community. He was interested in 3 bedrooms. So I gave him 2. One project is the McLaren, and he said, would you have something else? So I explained about the from Shobha too. And then he said, like, I prefer something for dinner. So I said, this is a great community if you have a cinema, aqua cinema underwater for the McLaren. And then he said, okay, send me the brochures. I sent him, and after I was following up with him, he said, maybe tomorrow we will go for visit with my wife. Because I told him, bring your wife and let's go see it. And then I was following up again. He said, oh, I become busy in my meetings and I'm traveling at night. Call me at Thursday again. And then he said, I said, okay, I'll call you. After he said, okay, like, listen, I would like now to see more the market and understand everything before I proceed. I want to see more projects with developers and see the market and check it out with my wife and we will see.
Okay.
So here, how to get that.
I'm going to give my response exactly based on what you said. He came up to you, he said, hi, how are you? What is it that you're selling? And you said, we're selling properties, okay? Firstly, I don't think that's a great thing to say. You have to tell me what's going to make it. You should say, we are selling investment opportunities. We help our investors strengthen their portfolios. And we do that through property. Sorry? Okay, in which case, it's a visitor, right?
Yeah.
It's probably an investor, not a... Okay, so in which case, do qualifying first.
I asked him this, are you looking to invest or are you looking to buy your...
Okay, what is the next question you asked?
After this, I asked him for how many bedrooms you're looking for.
Fine.
You would like to move to Dubai?
Okay.
And when are you planning to move to Dubai? Are you staying here now? Where do you stay?
Okay.
When are you coming back?
Okay. Did you ask him how soon he's planning on making the decision? That's the problem. So he's in curiosity. He's in curiosity mode. Curiosity never leads you to the conversion. Serious intent does.
So I'm planning to buy it.
Correct. I could be coming 2 years later. I'm planning. So I always have to answer. So let's say I could find you that amazing 3-bedroom in that community that you're looking for, that lifestyle, and I could do it for you in the 2.5 million. How soon are you looking at investing? That's when he will have to tell you, well, I have to first go home and discuss with my wife. I'm searching the market. You must finish your qualifying before you put the options on the table. So what? Now he said this. Okay. So I would turn around and say, I understand. And use the money. He's saying, I need to study the market. I would say, of course, we're talking 3.5 million. You should be sure that you're getting a great opportunity. In fact, most of my investors also wanted to know. That's why I helped them to think about it. So if you don't mind me asking, what exactly would you be needing to evaluate or understand before you can make the decision? Put the money on the table. Of course, we're talking 3.5 million. You should be sure.
Yeah, but what do you mean by this evaluate?
You just only said, I need to check the market. I need to see what other options are there, right? So I will ask him that. So when you say other options, you did mention that you were looking for, repeat the benefits. You were looking for this. Is that correct? Yes. So if I found you that within the 3.5, what else would you need to look at before you made a decision?
Okay, and now how to go again, how to approach again? You already traveled.
He's already traveled, right?
Yeah.
So you wait for him to come back and just call him again. Just wait for him to come back. Prepare something. You have an idea. You showed him Reserve and you showed him Lagoons, right? Heartland 2 and this thing. Just go to Property Monitor. Check how Heartland 2 has performed in the last 6 months, how Lagoons has performed in the last 2 years as a community. Get the PDF.
And then I
Send
sent
it.
him. Then I asked him, when are you going to come back to Dubai?
No. Tell him, since you were interested in these two, I'm sure I did some research for you to show you how the communities performed. I'll give you a call in a couple of days just to see if you have any questions about the report.
Okay,
So
but
without
I don't
pressure.
understand, like, I don't know if you live in London now or US. How can I know what time to call?
Sending him a WhatsApp with a voice note now. You told me he's coming on Thursday.
No, he said call me on Thursday. I don't know when he's
Call you on Thursday. Okay. Just check. Where is he? You will get to know.
But I don't ask him what time is best for him to call.
You could ask him, but if he's telling you call me, that's okay. But first, prepare the step 2. Take away voice note. So he feels he got something from you as value.
Okay, one more question. What your ear likes to hear, if you're passing in front of staff and they are offering properties, what would you think the best pickup line? Approach. I know, just this one.
It's so hard.
We all have different ways. We all ask what is the best way, shall we ask? We all say greet and hi, how are you? But what is like the soft and nice? There's funny ways, there's good ways, what do you think would attract your ear?
Okay, the first thing what you should do is when the person is walking or coming to you, going past you, check. Do you sense the person is high energy or you sense that the person is soft and laid back? If they're very casual and relaxed, these are people who don't like pressure and risk. They're back brain people. So you just have to be able to smile at them and say, hi, welcome to Dubai or something, or welcome to the hotel name. That's it. If they are high energy people, look for 2 things, okay? Do they move like they're military, police guys, stiff, firm, rigid movements? You have to look at this. You can see it within seconds, yeah? Have you seen how police guys walk? They're serious. They don't smile, right? Look at him. Is he serious, intense? And the way they are moving, their movements are sharp. These are guys who are authoritative. So your tone of voice goes up a little bit and say, good morning. They will look at you. But if you see natural, free-flowing, they're laughing, they're everything, you say hi. They will stop and say hi. Yeah. After that, you will talk to them and say, so, do you live in Dubai or are you visiting us? Or is this your first visit in Dubai? Is it your first visit in Dubai? But same way. You go with them.
Okay, 1 second. Sorry. Yesterday I was, let's try.
Next week when I come back, yeah.